Todd Starnes Show begins in 2 minutes. The Todd Starnes Show begins in 1 minute. Live from the Liberty University studio in Memphis, Tennessee, it's America's favorite gun-toting, Bible-clinging, deplorable American.
That's us. That's right. I love this American ride.
Todd Starnes.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I want to say something here right out of the gate. And I don't mean to offend, but I'm probably going to. I think by the end of the Republican primary process, there will be a lot of brand new alcoholics in America. Folks, I'm telling you, it's enough to drive a Baptist to drink in public, that is. Welcome, everybody, to the Todd Starnes radio program. Happy to have you with us. But I'm telling you, the back and forth between Team Trump and Team DeSantis, geez, Lou. Come on, people. We're only on day 2. All right? It's a marathon. There's no need to unleash every single day. But if you're following all of the back and forth between the Trump people and the DeSantis people, DeSantis is a rhino liberal, I don't know, secret son, love child of George H.W. Bush. And from the other side, you've got people accusing President Trump of cavorting with prostitutes and Dr. Fauci. It's a mess out there. So everybody just take a deep breath. You're giving me a headache. I mean, it's like, geez, Lou, if you don't pledge your allegiance to one or the other, it's enough to make somebody want to support Vivek Ramaswamy just to stay out of the fray. But we're not going to do that, ladies and gentlemen, because we've already thrown in for Donald John Trump. And there's a lot of crap being thrown around, and we're going to be addressing a lot of that on the program today. But I want to start with a couple of stories, and one of them I just find fascinating. It involves the boycotts of Bud Light and Anheuser-Busch, and this is really just staggering. So, first of all, I will say this, good for you. Good for you, America. Now, for a very long time, I have been opposed to boycotts, but I'm beginning to rethink that, and I want to explain my reasoning why. Because, again, not everything is in stone. Sometimes you can change your opinion about stuff. So the left has been very effective at this, very effective at the boycotts. And they have been very successful at forcing organizations to embrace radical agendas. And that's what's going on here, by the way. Target and Bud Light don't know what to do because you good people, the listeners of the Todd Starnes radio program, you good people have pretty much been happy-go-lucky. right? You do you, I'll do me, and we'll all just sing zippity-doo-dah, zippity-yay. Oh, we can't sing that song anymore. My apologies. But that's basically our philosophy, right? I mean, this is America. Live your life. Run your business how you want to run it. Well, the problem with that philosophy is that now everything has been weaponized. The left, they've weaponized our public schools. The left has weaponized government. They've weaponized the deep state. They've weaponized the Justice Department. And now they're weaponizing big business. They've weaponized the military, by the way. And by they, I mean these radical alphabet activists, these sex and gender revolutionaries. I have written 3 books exposing a lot of this nonsense. And every time I write a book and explain to people, here's what's happening now and here's what's about to happen, the same thing. Oh, there you go again. Stearns is just blowing the smoke out the wazoo. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I, Todd Stearns, do not blow smoke out the wazoo or any other orifice on my body. I know of what I speak. We've been warning you for a very long time. I would say that our listeners have been more educated on this than any other radio program on the air today. I know we have a lot of folks that like to come to the table and they jump in, they come on our website, read our work, and then pretend it's theirs. But we've been telling you about this because we've been at the forefront of this battle for freedom and liberty and traditional American values. So anyway, people are really wondering what's going on here because Target and Bud Light have come under fierce attack by you, conservatives, you, Christians in America. So much so that in some stores, Target has moved their LGBT Tuckum clothing lines to the back of the building. Bud Light cannot even give away their product. Nobody wants, you know why nobody wants to drink Bud Light? Because no man worth his red-blooded American manliness wants to be seen walking down the street drinking a Bud Light. Because people might think he's a little hoo-hoo, you know what I mean? So nobody's going to do that. The company's going to go out of business. Target, that's on you ladies. So the men are taking care of Bud Light. The ladies are just now starting to engage with Target, or as it's known in Germantown, Tennessee, Target. But I suspect you ladies of America are about to send Target a message as well. So get this, Fox Business now reporting that the marketing decisions by Target and Bud Light to embrace the radical gay agenda have literally cost stockholders $28 billion. $28 billion. It's unbelievable. And it's only going to get worse. Now, I will say this, that if you are of the LGBTQIA plus or whatever persuasion, and you support Target, then by all means go and shop. But the question is this, and it's a very simple question. Will Target be able to survive? Will they be able to pay the salaries of their 450,000 employees, border to border, coast to coast, across the fruited plain? Will they be able to do that with only the shoppers coming out of the alphabet activist movement? I don't think they can, because there aren't that many. Oh, I know they want you to believe that 9 out of 10 people are LGBT or whatever, but we all know that's not true, right? I mean, right? So what's going on here? You know, I got a text message from one of our good friends last night, and they were really confused by this. They're sort of confounded because we all see it, right? Anheuser-Busch is out there, and do you know what Anheuser-Busch has done? Instead of saying, folks, and this is all they had to do, they could have produced a commercial. Look, keep the Clydesdales in the barn. Just come out. The owner of the company, come out and say, you know what, folks, we screwed up. We stepped in it. We stepped in it big time. And we want to apologize. And we know that we've got to earn back your trust. We've got to earn back your business, and we're going to do whatever we can to do that, and we hope you'll give us a second chance. And say, that's all you have to do is go out there and just be honest with folks. But instead of doing that, in the face of their entire company about to explode and implode, Anheuser-Busch is going out there and announcing that they're going to be supporting all of these massive gay pride celebrations across the fruited plain. That was a faux pas. Fruited plain. So instead of backing down, they're doubling down. And people are saying, well, Todd, what's going on here? Why would they do that? Why would Anheuser-Busch? Really? Do you want the president of Anheuser-Busch to be working at the local Wawa or 7-Eleven or, dare I say it, Buc-ee's? Got to try the beaver nuggets, by the way. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying these people are terrified of something. They're terrified. They want to do the right thing, but they're too scared to do the right thing. And I want to explain why. Because people are saying, we don't get it. Their entire company is going to implode. They want to drive away all of their good church-going Christian drinkers and shoppers. What's going on here? I'm going to tell you what's going on. There's a group called the Human Rights Campaign. It is the nation's largest gay rights organization. They are powerful and they are well-funded, and they will destroy anyone who stands opposed to their agenda. If you remember, President Biden, when he was running for office, he gave a speech to the Human Rights Campaign, and he called out all of you Christians, you evangelicals in the audience, and called you the dregs of society. So if you, and by dregs of society, he was talking about all of you people that believe marriage is between a man and a woman. Now, on this program, I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. But I also believe this is America, and you can live your life however you want to live your life. But that does not allow you to redefine what God already defined. But the Supreme Court did. This is America. You live your life. You do you. But the problem is, it's not you doing you anymore. They want us to do you. And I don't want to do you or anybody else. Just bear with me. It's a Friday. So the Human Rights Campaign, they are incredibly funded, and it's because of the Hollywood activists, the Hollywood stars. So ultimately, all of you good Christian people out there, when you go to shop at Target, when you go drink Bud Light, when you go to and watch a TV show like, remember the very popular TV show years ago, Glee? It made millions and millions and millions of dollars. When you watch all of those programs, you are investing and you are making an in-kind contribution to the Human Rights Campaign. That's what's going on here. So that's why they're powerful, and that's why they're well-funded. By the way, they even targeted me, your friendly neighborhood affable host, because they hate anybody who will dare stand in their way. Now, for me, I get it from everybody because we have ultra-conservative people. Todd, how can you tell people they should live their life how they want to live their life? Because it's the Constitution. We're not a theocracy. Seriously. Come on, folks. Read your Constitution. So basically, the Human Rights Campaign is trying to bully these companies. And how do they do it? It's a brilliant strategy. They've created something called a Corporate Equality Index. So this index determines whether or not your company supports transgender and queer employees. And they have a list. It is basically an extortion racket. Look, Al Sharpton does the same thing. He'll call up a company and he'll say, you either give us money or we're going to come and boycott you and call you a bunch of racist. I mean, that's really what it is. In this instance, they're saying, you're either going to give us money or we're going to call you a bunch of homophobic, trans-hating bigots. All right, if that's it. So that's what's going on here. And they are so terrified. Anheuser-Busch and Target, they are so terrified of offending the Human Rights Campaign that even if it means they will go out of business, they would rather go out of business than offend these radical gay, lesbian, transgender domestic terrorist. Oh yeah, no. That's not a faux pas. That is absolutely what they are. They terrorize people. They are an evil bunch, and I don't mind calling them out on this radio program. Shame on you. So anyway, all that to say, we need to quadruple down on the boycotts. And we've got to start sending these people a message. By the way, and I know this is hard, and I hear from ladies, but Todd, Chip and Joanna Gaines, they've got their new summer line coming out, and it's exclusive at Target right now. And we have to have those wonderful scented candles like tobacco juice or whatever. I know, I get it. But you got to go shop somewhere else. But Todd, we're taking the kids to Disney World, and we've been saving up, and we're taking our grandkids down. It cost us $120,000, but we're really excited about going to Disney World and riding the rides and eating the really expensive food that has no flavor. And Todd, you know what? I get it. I really sympathize with you. Don't support this crap. Don't go to Disney. It really is that simple, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, we're gonna take your calls on this. My hat is off to our good friend Pastor Paul Champel, who is a huge sports nut, by the way. Lancaster Baptist Church in California, a massive mega church, president of West Coast Baptist College, and they have spent thousands and thousands of dollars sending the college kids and the church. They do the events at Dodger Stadium. And Pastor Champel wrote him a letter. We got it up on our website, toddstearns.com, and said, you know what? You honor these radical transgender perverts, the nuns. We're never, ever going to step foot inside Dodger Stadium, ever again. They're sports fans, but they also have values. So my question to you is, what's more important? Having a good time on the rides at Disney, or standing firm in your beliefs, getting a good discount at Target, or standing up for what you believe in? What's more important? 844-747-8868. By the way, this is Open Line Friday, so we're going to talk about whatever you want to talk about today. The line's officially open. We're going to the phones coming up next.
From the front lines of the culture war, it's Todd Starnes.
No matter where you're going, take along Brim Snack Foods. Cheese puffs, cheese curls, cracklins, cheddar fries, popcorn, pork rinds, potato chips, tortilla, and corn chips, and so much more. Family owned and operated, Brim's has been serving communities for over 40 years. And their delicious snacks are sold throughout the South. Brim Snack Foods. Life is so delicious.
Everyone's goals for advancing their education look different. At Liberty University, we've helped thousands of students like you earn their dream degree. So no matter what your goal is, we can help you get there. With over 450 degrees from the associate to the doctoral level to choose from, most of which are 100% online, you'll find what you need to succeed. To discover which degree might be the best fit for you, text degree to 49595. That's degree to 49595.
Our faith guides how we vote, the things we teach our kids, and so much more. But are we letting our faith make an impact in the most powerful resource we have, money? I mean, other than tithing, I never really thought about it until I learned about Timothy Plan, the pioneer of biblically responsible investing. Timothy Plan offers investment products that remove companies that act against biblical values or profit from human suffering. Through mutual funds and ETFs, Timothy Plan empowers investors to honor God with the money entrusted to them. So ask your financial advisor to use Timothy Plan, or call Timothy Plan directly at 1-800-TIM-PLAN. Again, that's 1-800-846-7526, and discover what it means to be a biblically responsible investor.
Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at timothyplan.com. Read carefully before investing. Mutual funds distributed by Timothy Partners LLC and ETFs distributed by Foresight Fund Services LLC as a paid testimonial. There's no guarantee of future performance, and each experience will differ.
You may know someone who never makes sense.
The significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time.
When everything they say makes you scratch your head.
We will work together and continue to work together to address these issues, to tackle these challenges, and to work together.
They could be perplexing.
It is time for us to do what we have been doing, and that time is every day. We are doing it.
Perplexia is not necessarily life-threatening unless that person holds significant power in an executive position.
Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia.
So before you assume someone's been smoking too much weed, remember, it could be much worse. She could be perplexic. This message brought to you by the Perplexia Foundation, making up useful excuses for the incredibly stupid since 1973.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
You know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
Yeah, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, anything, you need to tell an adult, someone you know and trust. That can be hard, but speaking up about a problem is what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, Em, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how, and we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids need to know the dangers and how to avoid them. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids, because when you talk, they hear you.
Want to know how crazy it's getting out there, ladies and gentlemen? This is pretty brilliant. North Hollywood, California. Yeah, that North Hollywood, California. Parents are now boycotting a school district's gay pride assembly. The parents are telling everybody, keep your kids at home. So this is not at the high school. This is actually a gay pride festival at the elementary school there in North Hollywood, California. Dozens of parents are just enraged. They say the material is not appropriate for their kids. Again, we're not talking about the bastion of the Bible Belt here. We're talking about Southern California, Hollywood. Students will be required to watch, this is, by the way, kindergartners, will be forced to watch a video where it says some kids have two mommies, some have two daddies. And is causing outrage even among the leftists in Hollywood. What does that tell you? All right, let's go to the phones, 844-747-8868. Let's start in West Tennessee, our newest affiliate, WTJS. B joins us. B, what's on your mind?
Todd, mega dittos on the entire monologue. I couldn't agree more. To me, this all comes from the puppet masters push from the top down, the gender confusion, whether it's Target, Anheuser-Busch, or whatever. And from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, the Baphomet, which is the idol of people who worship the devil, Luciferians. I mean, I've looked a lot of this stuff up. The Baphomet that they worship, that the statues they try to get put up, it was both genders, right? I'm fairly certain the Baphomet is both genders.
Okay.
That, to me, explains why they push all this gender identity confusion on our kids, because this is good versus evil. It's very clear. This is devil versus God. You know what I'm saying? So the Baphomet, which they worship, is both genders, is transgender. So whether these people on the very low levels know it or not, they're just pawns. But the people at the very top, they truly do worship Satan, Lucifer, whatever. But that explains why all these companies, the NBA, the NFL, these big corporations get pushed to push all this stuff, and they target our kids. We got to wake up and realize evil is out there and it's real.
And B, the reason why they're doing this, and keep in mind, it was originally at the college level, and they said, no, we got to do the high school, then it was middle school, then grade school. Now we're talking preschool and kindergarten, and the reason why is this is not natural behavior. So this is a learned behavior, and that's why they have to start so young. And you're going to start seeing parents, and we've already started to see these reports surface, where if you're a parent and you don't support the transgenderism of your child, then they could take your child away from you. Do you see where all this is going here, folks? B, thanks for the call, 844-747-8868. This is Open Line Friday. We'll be right back with your calls on The Todd Starnes Show.
The average time a resume spends on an HR manager's desk is 7 seconds, and most of them are tossed aside. Now imagine if one of those resumes belonged to Yasmin, who was
living in a shelter, juggling 3 jobs. I had to be resilient. That's something that you can't teach.
Or if that resume was from someone who
worked 12-hour shifts at the recycling company with my dad, who's 72. That taught me a work ethic that I carry with me every day.
We rely so much on a resume, yet it could never tell the full story of someone.
Growing up where I did, a lot of things could have gotten in the way of my goals. But I learned to push through, and that's what I bring to work every day.
So maybe it's time we look beyond the resume and look to Grads of Life. Discover new ways to develop great talent that are so much more than what's on paper at gradsoflife.org. A public service announcement brought to you by Grads of Life and the Ad Council.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Well, Jason, I've got to tell you, you're pretty much everything this company is looking for in an entry-level candidate.
Great.
Your resume isn't quite what we're used to, but you've got a fantastic work ethic.
Thank you.
And I'm impressed by how you carry yourself.
So, should we talk about the job?
What? The job? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I have no way of recruiting or even meeting you. This interview didn't happen.
It may sound ridiculous, and that's because it kind of is. There's a huge pool of talent your company is missing out on. Meet the Grads of Life. Who are they? Talent worth knowing about. Young adults of unique determination and experience. An ideal fit for your company in an entry-level position, internship, or even mentorship. They might not have every qualification you typically look for, but they're exactly who your company needs.
Man, we really could have used him.
Don't miss out on a resource many innovative companies have already discovered. Go to gradsoflife.org to learn how to find, cultivate, and train this great pool of untapped talent. Brought to you by the Ad Council and gradsoflife.org.
Okay, I got it.
It's easy to take your world for granted. Most days go by without a whole lot of surprises. But what if a disaster strikes without warning? What if life as you know it has completely turned on its head? What if everything familiar becomes anything but? Would you be prepared? Before a disaster turns your family's world upside down, it's up to you to be ready. Get a kit, make a plan, be informed today. Learn how at www.ready.gov. Ready.gov. This message brought to you by the Federal Emergency Management Agency and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
All right. Well, hello, everybody. Hope you're doing great. A lot of people traveling today, Memorial Day weekend. And we also want to honor those in our listening audience who may have lost a loved one serving in the armed forces. And if that is you, we would love to hear about your loved one. Give us a call, 844-747-8868. That's 844-747-8868. Tomorrow, I'm heading over to the West Tennessee Veteran Cemetery. We're going to be putting, 28,000 American flags on the graves of our fallen heroes. And there are going to be a lot of people out there doing that. Scouts, Trail Life USA, I'm sure, will be out there. And so if you, and I'm certain the same thing's happening in military cemeteries all over America, give them a call. See if you can bring the family down. You can volunteer. You know, one of the important things, and this is so vitally important if you have kids or grandkids, this is one of those holidays where, you know what, it's okay to go out and grill a burger or a hot dog or have a picnic. Tonight, if you're in Memphis, Tennessee, we'd love for you to join us at the Overton Shell, the Bellevue Baptist Orchestra doing a Pops concert under the stars. It's going to be a wonderful night. Those are things we're able to do. We're able to celebrate because of the men and women who sacrificed their lives so that we could be free. So what? Yeah, eat the hot dog and the hamburger. But you know what? Bring the kids to the cemetery. Tell them about the history of this country and the legacy of the men and the women who fought and died to keep us free. On Monday, Memorial Day, there are going to be services all over the country. I'll be speaking at one in Arlington, Tennessee. Go out and be a part and bring your kids so they can understand America. Folks, the schools aren't going to do it. We've got to do it ourselves. And what a great opportunity to provide those lessons. All right, let's get to the phones. This is Open Line Friday, and a lot of folks wanting to weigh in. Orlando in Georgia. Orlando, what's on your mind?
Hey, Todd. I was doing the open mic, and I wanted to weigh in on the difference of the police and a counselor. They're opening that up in every state. It seems like one state's been like that for over 10 years. But I look at that, and let me know if I'm right or wrong, but I look at that as wasteful money within the government to have a counselor to ride with a police officer. And another thing is the target thing. The gay community, these people are damaged. They have been hurt or damaged by a loved one in their family or their mother or father dating someone that just got out of prison and they molested that child. So therefore, they are actually living that life of torment that they've had to deal with already. So the counseling part with the police, I think these people need to go see counseling.
Well, I'm not going to profess to know everything about anything. And, my philosophy has always been, Orlando, this is America. You get to live your life how you want to live your life. I may not support it, but But again, I can't say what you said. I cannot affirm what you just said because I don't know. I don't know why people, I just don't know. I all I know is what I believe personally, and
Yes,
that's
And
something.
we're both old school, and I come from the old school community myself, and it's just something I don't care to. I just don't care to live that life no more than anyone else that's standing in that same box.
But Orlando, I will say this: when you're going in, and again, when you're exposing 2-year-olds and 3-year-olds to transgender, these drag queens, that's a problem, and that tells me that they're trying to force something unnatural on these children, and they're playing with the minds.
Yes, and I feel like that's another form of abuse. I mean,
no doubt about it.
And yet they tried to control the government to say, oh, well, we can't curse around our children. We can't smoke in front of our kids. We can't drink. We can't do all of these things. But what are you doing? You're advertising it now on TV, and then yet you got clothing for children that's 3 years old. I mean, come on.
That's it. Orlando, we got a lot of folks. We got a lot of folks wanting to weigh in, and I appreciate your thoughts and your comments. Let's go to Jerry the Liberal in Wisconsin. Jerry, guess what's happening next year? Oh, I know you're so excited.
Oh, yeah, it's the convention.
The Republicans are coming to town, Jerry.
Yeah, I mean, it would be nice to have some Republicans in Milwaukee because we have so few of them. So it would be a change.
You're going to love us. We pay our bills. We tip well.
Yeah.
We go to church. Jerry, what's going on, Jerry?
Okay, to disagree with you. Okay, I don't agree maybe with every apparel item sold at Target. I don't agree with everything. I mean, if you take a child, especially a young child, to maybe like a drag store hour, it depends. It depends on a lot of things. But overall, what gay people and transgender people are, they're just trying to celebrate who they are. This is who they are. This is what they are. So nobody's trying to boycott Christian apparel sold at Target or whatever. If someone wants to buy a Christian merchandise, I don't care. I'm an atheist, as you know. I don't care. That's your choice. I don't want to get involved. That's your choice. But there's people who are trying to go after people because they're gay and lesbian and they're buying this merchandise. Not even the worst, just saying gay pride. I mean, if you're proud to be gay, I don't know why that's considered so offensive to some people, but they consider that offensive to their religion that there's gay people who are proud to be gay. I find that strange, that the idea there's a God who cares about someone being gay. To me, that's very weird.
You see, I don't think that's it, Jerry. And maybe we have listeners who will call in and explain why they are boycotting Target. I think the issue is they're trying to force this on the kids. The only complaints I've heard have been about the transgender onesies and the bathing suits meant for small children to tuck their private parts. That's to me. And again, if Target wants to sell this and they think there's a market for it, then have at it. But there is going to be a price to pay. And the other part of that, I don't think they sell Christian apparel at Target. I may be mistaken here.
No, I just went on to see if Target sold. I don't know about apparel, but they sell Christian merch, signs and whatever. And I don't care. Now, again, I don't care. Maybe not all the merchandise like the transgender merchandise, but if some 12-year-old transgender boy who was a biological girl wants to wear something that just flattens her chest, it's not my problem. That's the way she is. I'm not going to get upset at Target if that's what she wants to buy. That is who, or she, she is now a boy because that's the way her nature.
Jerry, we're going to leave it there. We're going to open up the lines and let people weigh in here. But I honestly, I think the reason why Target is the focus of this boycott is because they're targeting the kids. May I just ask a question here? And I know this is probably going to offend somebody out there, but when I was living in Brooklyn, New York, when I was working at Fox News, we had a gay pride parade that came through the neighborhood, and it was pretty large parade. So anyway, it was like right outside my window of my brownstone, so you see everything. And I just made an observation, and this observation got me in trouble with the people over at Fox, because I pointed out that there were a good many people that were dressed in buttless leather chaps. and it was particularly hot, and I was sort of worried about chafing. I mean, I was just trying to be neighborly. I wasn't trying to, poke fun at anybody. I said, are they concerned about chafing when you're marching down the streets in the heat of the summertime in New York City wearing buttless leather chaps? And I got so much hate mail over that. But it's, first of all, I'm just a genuine person. I don't want anybody to be chafed, and especially in the nether regions. That's very uncomfortable, especially in the summertime. But I think what they were really upset with is, they advertise these gay pride parades as family-friendly events. And by and large, they are not family-friendly. And our friends over at Gays Against Groomers, and again, these are members of the LGBT community, Gays Against Groomers, sent a video over. And the video shows one of these gay pride parades, and it shows grown men dressed in, well, you kind of wish they were wearing buttless leather chaps, because they're dressed as puppy dogs on chains, and they're being marched around on chains in leather thongs, and they're being whipped and spanked as they encourage children to pet the human dogs on their head. Now, I ask you, ladies and gentlemen, is that representative of pride in America? Is that what pride is? This is not Todd Starnes sharing this information. This is the Gays Against Groomers sharing this information. I'm just asking. Let's go to Dawn in Morehead City, North Carolina. Hi, Dawn. What's happening?
Hello. How are you today?
I'm well. Thank you for asking, Dawn.
So I know this is kind of off topic, but I am so irritated I could scream. Some of these big box stores have gotten so rude and disrespectful towards the older customers especially that it's hard to even walk into one.
Well, tell me what happened, Dawn. And again, this is Open Line Friday, so whatever's on your mind here, but what happened?
I went into a big box store. I saw a bracelet I wanted. I said, I want that bracelet. And she says, I'm sorry, I can't sell it to you because the lock is broken and we cannot get into the case. I spoke to the store manager. I've even called corporate. It's been 6 weeks. Nothing has happened.
So there's this jewelry in a locked case that you want to buy, and you're telling me they have no way to open up the case to get you the jewelry.
That is correct.
Wow, what's the name of the store? I'm curious.
Walmart.
Oh, wow. Well, have you thought about going to another Walmart? Is there like another town nearby?
The thing is, only certain Walmarts carry the jewelry. So it's either this one or not at all. And they didn't even offer to order me a new one. I mean, they just said, well, we can't open it, so that's all we can do about it. We can't help you in any other way. They didn't offer to order me a new one. They didn't do any of that.
Wow. What about what about going back to the hardware section of the Walmart and getting a hammer, and maybe they could just, open up the glass case?
And that would be me in jail wearing orange.
Well, you let them do it. Yeah, you don't. Don't follow my advice. Don't follow my advice, Dawn.
Yes, sir. But it's just, it just seems like with prices going up and having to check out your own groceries because they don't have enough cashiers to do it with. I mean, it seems like, they would kind of make a difference some other way.
So, in other words, just going the extra mile for the customer.
What happened to let's please the customer, let's bring the money into the store, let's make the community a better place because we're the place to come to. Whatever happened to that?
It's a great question, Dawn. All right. Well, good luck to you, and let's just hope that maybe somebody just casually walking by and accidentally drops an anvil or something and cracks the case. Good luck to you, Dawn. Come on, Dieter. That was good advice.
That was terrible advice, Todd. You're going to end this woman up in the clanker.
Well, I'm not sending her bail money, so that is it's a tough economy right now.
I mean, she raises a great point. I mean, you go to Target or Walmart or any of these big stores, you don't get served anymore. You are the cashier. You have to do everything.
Oh, it's true. That's why I don't go to Walmart, and I certainly don't go to Target. But now they're making you do all the self-checkout, and you don't get a discount. You don't get nope. The holiday parties. Nothing. You don't get the bonus at the end of the year.
And that's only if you're lucky enough to get one of the machines that actually works.
Oh, fair enough.
That's the problem.
Yeah, it's a great point. All right, folks, Open Line Friday, so we're happy to take whatever calls, whatever questions, whatever is a bee in your bonnet. We're gonna talk about today. 844-747-8868. Again, that's 844-747-8868. May I just tell you that I'm very excited about our good friends at Calitrin. I've been doing the weight loss thing, hitting the walking trails, trying to slim down, but this is not an overnight thing, and it really can't be, because when you do that, right, you know how it is. You work hard, you exercise, you diet, and then you're off the wagon, and you gain twice as much. And so I don't want that to happen. So I'm losing weight, and I'm doing it in a very methodical way, thanks to this product called Calitrin. This is a stimulant-free and drug-free weight loss pill. So it works. It's unbelievable. I take it after every my last meal of the day, and not only is it helping me lose weight, but it's also helping me sleep at night, and quite frankly, a little too much. I mean, I was sleeping 3 to 4 hours a night. Now, on average, 7 to 8 hours. And that also helps with the weight loss, and it also makes me feel good. You don't want your host nodding off in the middle of a show, right? Not only that, it's also relieving joint pain. And when you hit my age, well, you need all the help you can get. But again, stimulant-free and drug-free. Now, if you'd like information, I want you to give them a call, 833-TOP-LOSS. That's 833-TOP-LOSS. You can also go online, toploss.com. That's toploss.com. And have a promo code set up for our listeners. So if you decide, you know what, I'm going to give this a shot. It's working for Todd Starnes. Maybe it'll work for me. Well, all you have to do is use the promo code Todd, and they're going to give you a really incredible discount. Great people to work with. Again, 833-TOP-LOSS. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Todd Starnes.
Friends, the entire world is experiencing food shortages. Supply chain breakdowns continue to have a domino effect on everything, especially food production. Farmers can't plant as many crops now because of fertilizer shortages, forced regulations, and high fuel prices. This will cause more painful food shortages when we run out of the food we're eating now. Food takes time to grow, so when farmers don't plant, months later, we don't eat. That's why you need to prepare for an increasing number of food shortages. And the best way is to invest in Ready Hour emergency food from My Patriot Supply. It's a perfect hedge against skyrocketing prices and shortages. Right now, save $50 on a 4-week food kit from My Patriot Supply. Go to preparewithtodd.com and get your $50 savings on 4-week emergency food kits that average over 2,000 calories per day. That's preparewithtodd.com. Those who know what's coming are getting prepared now. Shouldn't you? Preparewithtodd.com.
Well, our good friend Mike Lindell is back at it again. Hello, everybody. I'm Todd Starnes. Mike Lindell not only created the best pillow, but now he's created the best towel in the world. That's right. Mike Lindell found the best towel company right here in the USA. They have proprietary technology to create towels that feel soft but actually work. And they're all made with USA cotton. They come with the MyPillow 60-day money-back guarantee. Get this, folks. You're going to get a 6-piece set, 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths made with USA cotton, soft yet absorbent. Normally $109.99, now just $39.99. All you need to do is go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, and get deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the towels. Just enter the promo code STARNS or call 800-839-8506 for these great radio specials. That's 800-839-8506. Use the promo code STARNS.
This is Ed Horrell, founder of the Kindness Revolution. In my corporate talks, I often like to reference a theory which scientists have been unable to disprove. It's called the butterfly effect, and it theorizes that given the perfect atmospheric conditions, a butterfly flapping its wings in the United States can result in a hurricane in Japan. Now you might be wondering what this has to do with kindness, and the answer is a lot. Many of us fail to consider the effect that we have every day on the people around us. I want you to think for a moment of the people who've had the most influence in your life. So why not think before you take even the smallest action today? Remember that your slightest actions might change the direction of someone else. Substitute impatience with empathy and indifference with kindness. And to learn more, check us out at thekindnessrevolution.net.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for youth.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals into your body.
And nicotine, which can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media.
Many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping.
Because when you talk, they hear you.
Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
All right, let's get right to the phones. Gene in Iowa has a self-checkout story. Can't wait to hear this one. All right, Gene, what you got for us?
Well, we have two grocery stores in a little town of about 3,500 people. I don't know if I can mention names or not. But,
sure, go ahead.
Well, one is a Hy-Vee, called Hy-Vee, and the other one is called Fairway.
All right, all right.
Hy-Vee decided they were going to do the self-checkout thing. And Hy-Vee is a ghost town. And Fairway has had to hire almost double their staff to keep up with the people that will come there.
Is that right?
Just dead in the water. Yep.
Now, Gene, given the choice, would you do the self-checkout or would you rather have somebody check you out?
Oh, I want somebody there. Me and computers don't get along.
No, I hear. You know what gets me, Gene? You're at the self-checkout and you're getting, I don't know, say cough syrup. And all of a sudden the alarms go off and the red light, and then the person has come over, the clerk, and by the time it's all said and done, it's so much easier just to let somebody else do it for you. I mean, having to show your ID, the whole 9 yards, it drives me bonkers.
Well, yeah, it's outrageous. They got somebody hired standing there looking at the cash register. Anyway.
Gene, I'm with you. And I think it sounds like the people in Iowa have already made the decision that they want to go to a grocery store chain where there are actual human beings there. And by the way, Gene, thanks for the call. I don't want to call out any grocery stores, but I shop at Kroger. Do you know that we now have they have like the long conveyor belts where you actually start, where you have to do the self-checkout. And get this, you still have to pay more. We'll be right back, America.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I work in a school, so I'm around like 1,000 kids a day constantly, and so I wash my hands and use alcohol on them probably 100 times a day or better. And my hands are always cracking open and splitting, and I did not have that this entire winter. And I bet you anything, this is me, I bet you anything it's Balance of Nature. It's the only thing I've done different. Like the guy on your commercial says, I'm going to keep on taking it the rest of my life, and I feel the same way. It's going really good. I mean, I feel better. Got more energy, and, I can go through my day better.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order. That's 1-800-2468-751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-2468-751 and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
Is your life as an accountant too dull and boring? Then start an exciting new career as a special agent for the IRS. Yes, you can take your accountancy to the next level. You'll carry a cool gun and a pencil for the Biden administration's 87,000-strong army of IRS special agents. Wow. But only if you're willing to use deadly force to collect past due quarterly deposits of estimated tax payments, decipher illegible 941s, and track the elusive 1099s.
I hate 1099s.
Then stop filling out forms and enforce the law.
All right, you non-complier. Go ahead. Make my... Sorry, Larry. Should have worn my glasses.
Fill out an application if you're man enough. Or a man who's woman enough. Or gender neutral. Look, we need 87,000 people, so we're not going to be that picky, really.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Starnes. Stand by for news and commentary next.
Liberty University's K-12 online academy is the best of a homeschool, private school, and Bible-based education all rolled into one. With LUOA, you can take charge of your child's learning environment and create a structured yet flexible schedule that works for your family. Our qualified teachers are easily accessible for guidance and support along the way. And with new classes starting every Monday, it's never too late to make the switch to LUOA. To learn more, text LUOA to 88741. That's LUOA to 88741.
The Biden administration spent nearly $40 million on a study targeting conservative and Christian groups as violent terrorists. Media Research Center made the shocking discovery in a Freedom of Information Act investigation. The money was given to the University of Dayton for a study on far-right radicalization. Fox News, Christian Broadcasting Network, the Heritage Foundation, Breitbart, among the groups targeted, so was the Republican National Committee and Prager University. Understand that the Department of Homeland Security weaponized its anti-terror program against their political enemies. The program was originally meant to identify Islamic extremists and potential radicalization plots on American soil. Your tax dollars were used to try and destroy conservatives and Christians. President Biden is treading on very dangerous ground here, especially with Christians. As the Bible reminds us, no weapon formed against us will prosper. I'm Todd Starnes.
The Todd Starnes Show begins in 4 minutes. Todd Starnes Show begins in 2 minutes. The Todd Starnes Show begins in 1 minute. Live from the Liberty University studio in Memphis, Tennessee, it's common sense conservative commentary from Todd Starnes.
That's us. That's right. I love this American ride.
You know, it takes a lot to surprise me, and I am surprised, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Todd Starnes radio program. Trust you are doing well today. Now, there are a lot of advocacy groups out there across America. I mean, you've got the one for the no, you can't call them midgets anymore, Ben. No, you have to call them little people, or I don't know, vertically challenged. But you can't call them the M word. That's inappropriate. The M word. You've got the advocacy groups. If you're Irish American or Italian American or Muslim American, it goes down the list. Anyway, I had no idea until a few moments ago that there is something called the National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance. That's like the NAAFA. Anyway, it's apparently a very large organization with big influence. Huge, some might say. Stop, Dieter. Stop it. So, New York City has just signed a legislation. So this is the law of the land, that you are no longer allowed to ban people who are fat or of a certain height. So if, let's say you're an employer and let's just say, for the sake of the argument, and I don't want all you Baptist church ladies calling and hollering at me, but this is just a hypothetical. Let's say, Ben Dieter, turn your microphone on. I'm going to put this all on you. I've got enough hate mail this week. So let's just say Ben Dieter owns the Hooters in Times Square. A lovely establishment. They have great chicken wings.
I hear they're great.
Among other chicken parts. And so anyway, you've got you're the owner of a Hooters. And you know, the Hooters waitresses, the wait staff, they're scantily clad, if I recall correctly. Now, Ben Dieter, if you are hiring for a Hooters, what are you going to be hiring? What kind of an employee is the perfect employee at the Hooters?
I think I would go. Do they call them 10s? I would shoot for a 10.
You would want an attractive.
Long legs, Good thighs
and hello, Dolly.
And hello, Dolly.
All right. Yeah, no, I mean, I'm just saying.
I'm just being
All right,
honest.
Yeah, we're just being honest.
Yeah.
We're just talking, you and me.
Just us.
Oh, ma'am, just a moment here. Just hold on, Ben. All the millions of people listening, just hang tight for just a moment. So anyway, so you're right. So you would hire a certain person. You would not
bombshell.
You would not hire Todd Starnes to work at Hooters, right? That would not work out well.
You wouldn't make it past the first interview.
I wouldn't make the cut. I wouldn't make the cut. I would go down during the swimsuit competition. I'm just saying. So now, as a result of this law, the next time you go to Hooters in Times Square, you could have a 450-pound gal serving you your hot wings.
That's going to go over well for their patrons, right?
I'm just speechless.
This is the new law. You know, whatever happened to legislating sanity? When was it a good thing to just be morbidly obese and not be champion? In fact, you must be. It's insane, Todd.
They say you're born that way, but I'm fairly certain you cannot pass people that large. I'm just saying, all you moms out there, you're not born that way. You eat yourself that way.
Yeah.
I mean, that's it.
And it's not your big bones.
So
I always say, I have big bones.
What's that song? Fat Bottomed Girl. Yeah. All right. So now the chairperson of the National Association to Advance Fat people is speaking out about this, and we have some audio.
The National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance and a co-founder of the Campaign for Size Freedom. I am so thrilled at the example that New York City is setting today. Y'all know, New York is the global city. And this will ripple across the globe in terms of showing to people all over the world that discrimination against people based on their body size is wrong and is something that we can change. We can't legislate attitudes, but we can do everything that's in our power to ensure that people are treated equally and that people have equal opportunity under the law. So thank you, everyone who worked on this bill and everyone who supports this work across the country and all over the world.
Oh my gosh, she's out of breath just talking. I mean,
she sounds like she has pneumonia.
It's terrible. So a couple of things here. First of all, she said that this is all about size freedom. All right, let me say something about size freedom for a moment. Have you seen the skinny jeans that back in the day, I'm not sure if people still wear the skinny jeans, Dieter, but back when I was living in New York City, we had this people group called the millennials or the hipsters, and they would wear the skinny jeans. And by and large, they were liberal, primarily because the skinny jeans cut off the flow of blood to their brains. So you got the people wandering around the streets in the skinny jeans. Here's something very interesting about this concept. The people in those jeans happen to be skinny. So all these folks preaching size freedom, are they going to go down to the skinny jeans store in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, New York, and are they going to cry discrimination because they can't wiggle their big toe into a pair of skinny jeans? Is that what's going to happen? Sorry.
They started making leggings. This is why we now are stuck with leggings, because it fits everyone. Now, I'm not saying everybody should be in leggings, but I think you're right.
I'm well-rounded myself, but I'm not asking for special rights. It seems to me that the whole point of being that large is you want to lose weight, right? To fit back into regular society, or at least size plus or XL.
No, they want to advance fatness. That's what they're calling themselves.
I mean, you've got people now demanding, like, well, I want a 5XL shirt. Okay, well, that's going to cost you more money. Well, why is it costing me more money? That's discrimination. No, because we have to use more cloth, sir. I mean,
that's discrimination.
But now they're saying that's discrimination.
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to, now I get it, but again, look, all right, let me ask you, this is a legitimate question here. Wow, we're going to get so much hate mail this week. So let's talk about the height size of this, all right? What was the song we sang in Sunday school? Deep and wide? Deep and, well, really wide. So let's just say you've got somebody who is, 4'1", all right? You've got a guy 4'1". He wants to try out for the Brooklyn Nets, right? He wants to play basketball down at Barclays Center in downtown Brooklyn. And he wants to join the basketball team, and he doesn't make the cut. You know why, Ben Dieter? Because he's about 3 inches shy of being a little person, an Oompa Loompa. Is there anything wrong with that? No, not at all. But what I'm saying is, would the Nets be required to put that guy on the basketball team?
Well, if it looks like they're going to be following this legislation, it would appear that they would have to. Otherwise, they might be sued for discrimination. It's insanity.
Welcome to New York City. What was it, a couple of weeks ago? They had that large Marge gal who wanted to sue the airline, right? She actually wanted them to take out seats so she could walk down the aisle without having to shovel on the side.
And that's the passenger, Todd. But now you have to think about the flight attendants, the chicks wanting to work at American Airlines. I mean, you have to be a certain size to be able to fit your way down the center aisle with that cart. But under this state law, they're going to be taking out everybody's trays, dishes. It's going to be a bloodbath.
It's bad, when the further up the plane they go, the plane starts to dip down a little bit. It's like maybe lay off the fried chicken.
Yeah.
Just switch to grilled.
Oh, boy. All right, your phone lines are blowing up. I've got to answer some phone calls.
I'm just saying here, folks, and this is nothing against fat people at all, because I happen to be one. But again, I'm not out there asking for special rights and privileges. But you know what's even worse, Ben Dieter, is, and we'll go to break on this, and then we'll go to the phone lines. Imagine being one of those little people. Imagine being an Oompa Loompa on American Airlines, and somebody from the National Association to Advance Fat People actually sits on you by mistake. That would be difficult. It would. All right, we got to take a break. 844-747-8868. That's our toll-free telephone number. That's 844-747-8868. Where has common sense gone? We've gone slap crazy, America. We'll be right back.
Todd wants to talk with you right now. Call and be a part of it. 844-747-8868. It's Todd Starnes.
No matter where you're going, take along Brim Snack Foods. Cheese puffs, cheese curls, cracklins, cheddar fries, popcorn, pork rinds, potato chips, tortilla, and corn chips, and so much more. Family owned and operated, Brim's has been serving communities for over 40 years. And their delicious snacks are sold throughout the South. Brim Snack Foods. Life is so delicious.
When you're working to protect and serve your community and country, you need a degree program that fits into your busy schedule. At Liberty University, you'll find just that. With 100% online program options and no set login times, you can advance your skills without sacrificing your commitments. Plus, we offer exclusive tuition rates and discounts to current and former service members, their spouses, and first responders. Learn more by texting DEGREE to 49595. That's DEGREE to 49595.
Our faith guides how we vote, the things we teach our kids, and so much more. But are we letting our faith make an impact in the most powerful resource we have, money? I mean, other than tithing, I never really thought about it until I learned about Timothy Plan, the pioneer of biblically responsible investing. Timothy Plan offers investment products that remove companies that act against biblical values or profit from human suffering. Through mutual funds and ETFs, Timothy Plan empowers investors to honor God with the money entrusted to them. So ask your financial advisor to use Timothy Plan or call Timothy Plan directly at 1-800-10-PLAN. Again, that's 1-800-846-7526 and discover what it means to be a biblically responsible investor.
Investing involves risk, including possible loss of principal. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risks, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at timothyplan.com. Read carefully before investing. Mutual funds distributed by Timothy Partners LLC and ETFs distributed by Foresight Fund Services LLC as a pay testimonial. There's no guarantee of future performance and each experience will differ.
If you have a yard or maybe a field, you may plan on digging in it. Perhaps you want to put in a swimming pool, add a super awesome barbecue pit, or bury a comically large chest of pirate booty. But before you dig, you should know that there are buried pipelines in lots of places, maybe even under your own little patch of green. If you dig and hit one of these pipelines, it could cause a leak. and that could cause serious problems.
Sorry.
So before you find buried pipelines with a shovel or a backhoe, find them with a phone. Call 811 before you dig to have any buried lines located and marked at no charge. Remember, before you dig for any reason, be it construction, a sprinkler system, or tunneling your way to sweet, sweet freedom, call 811 first.
Call your local natural gas utility or visit pipesafety.org. Brought to you by the Tennessee Gas Association.
And what you doing with your phone? Taking pictures?
No, I'm asking it questions.
Like what?
Hey, Bobo, do flowers have best friends?
I'm sorry. I'm afraid I don't know that. Hey, follow me. I want to show you something. Look, flowers do have best friends.
Whoa.
Some answers can only be found in nature. Discover the unsearchable. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a trail near you. Brought to you by the United States Forest Service and the Ad Council.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable, but how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
It is an uncertain time for us all, but kids in foster care have always known an uncertain future. Now, more than ever, we appreciate a place to call home. Youth Villages Foster Care asks that you consider opening your home to these young people. To keep us all safe and healthy during this time, Youth Villages is offering virtual presentations to address your questions about fostering a child. Learn how you can foster a little hope at youthvillages.org/foster. Brought to you by Youth Villages in cooperation with this station and the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters.
Neil Armstrong waited 6 hours and 39 minutes to step onto the surface of the moon. Jackie Robinson waited 20 months to play his first game with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And even DiCaprio had to wait 22 years to win an Oscar. You can wait until your destination. Don't text and drive.
Visit stoptextstoprex.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
I'm a person that believes in health. So when you talk about not discriminating against someone because of their body type, is not fighting against obesity. It's just being fair. And so I think this is the right thing to do. We're going to continue to talk about our progressive health agenda. And science has shown that body type is not a connection to if you're healthy or unhealthy. And I think that's a misnomer that we are really dispelling.
All right. Well, if that's the case, Mr. Mayor, thank you, Eric Adams, the mayor of New York City, then why not go ahead and outlaw every weight loss organization in the city? I mean, if you're telling us that the size of your body, that being obese does not impact your health, go ahead and just shut down all the athletic facilities. Tell Jenny Craig, see you later. Weight Watchers, you're out of here. I mean, if in fact that's what this is really all about. People have lost their ever-loving minds, ladies and gentlemen. All right, let's go to the phones. Open Line Friday. Let's go to Bill in Statesville, North Carolina. WSIC, our great affiliate there. Hi, Bill. What's on your mind today?
Todd, thank you for allowing me on your front porch today.
Well, you're kind to say it, Bill. Pull up a chair and let's talk.
Freedom is not free, and it comes with a cost. And I'm remembering that today, and I try to remember that each and every day that I live. But especially this weekend, we all need to remember it. And those woke people, they're free to do what they want to do, just like the rest of us. But where I draw the line is they coming after our babies, my grandbabies. And now, that being said, I'm going to go back on my front porch and exercise my Second Amendment.
Well, there
Just putting that out there.
Bill, well, no, I'm glad you did, and you're right. I mean, we live in a nation where so many people have no idea about our history. They don't understand the sacrifices that were made. And a lot of that is our own fault because we took our eyes off the local public schools, and they raised a generation of kids to hate America. So good for you, sir. And you hang tight on that porch with your Second Amendment rights in tow. Appreciate that call, Bill. Let's go to Steve in Arkansas. Hi, Steve. What's on your mind?
Hey, Todd. I've got a little different angle on this boycotting thing of businesses and stuff than most people are talking. Most people are talking about the financial support and this and that and making them pay financially. Here's an angle I have on it. Why any company that just blatantly advertises their sexuality and supports this mental illness of transgender, whatever, LGBTQ, whatever, they're putting it out a welcome mat for the mentally ill. Why do I want to voluntarily put myself or my family in an area where I may have to have an unpleasant confrontation that's going to end up bad for both of us, me or the mentally ill person, and when I don't have to? When Target opened up their restrooms to mentally ill men, I told my wife that day, don't ever go to a Target again. What you're doing is you're going down there and putting yourself in a situation that you may get traumatically assaulted or hurt, and then I also have to deal with it too, because then I've got to go down there and try to straighten out what's happened.
Steve, to your point, and a lot of people gave American Family Association grief, but they launched that national boycott against Target back when they opened up the bathrooms and the dressing rooms to men who wanted to identify as women. And one of the fascinating stories about all of that, the takeaways, there were many, many accounts, police reports, and local news covered these stories. The national news did not, of men being arrested at Target stores, to your point, doing horrible things with young girls and to young girls. So, Steve, I get exactly where you're coming from. Appreciate that call. Let's go to Jerry in Iowa. Hi, Jerry. What's on your mind today?
Howdy, Brother Todd. I'm in Jeff Stein's back 40 here in Iowa. So,
Radio
open
station
lines.
KXEL. Great blowtorch of freedom there in the heart.
Yeah, it really is. I'm happy with them, except for I like their Fox News Radio. But reason why I called is so I want to say that, well, please, everyone, please remember Memorial Day, too, for what it really is. Do something. So, but my topic I wanted to ask you about is, so I'm thinking that it's not the politicians that are destroying America. It's not. It's the non-political masses. And I wrote this down yesterday. I wrote, those who ignore minding the store. So the Democrats are proactively installing immorality everywhere in politics and corporations. But most of the rest of us, we're allowing immorality. We're complicit with it. We don't rock the boat. My friends and close relatives, most don't like what the left is doing, but they're very complicit. So this is not to be laid at the feet of politicians. I mean, it takes more than voting every 4 years. It takes persuading your little world of people. Mine, I'm not going to be a politician, but I take a stand. I actually bring up topics. So I'm just want to say, why don't we all decide who to pay and where to shop? It's like working 40 hours a week to pay woke companies to pervert and wreck our country.
Well, that's one of the reasons we have Timothy Plan on, our good friend Art Alley, because a lot of people are doing that with their investments. They have a 401k, maybe they're investing in the stock market, and a lot of these folks are actually investing in companies that are supporting this nonsense. So, Jerry, it really is, I think you really gave us something to think about here. But ultimately, we've got to be minding the store. We do that on the flagship station, KWAM in Memphis, all the time. And I know it drives a lot of our Republican lawmakers nuts, but we don't mean anything bad by it. We just expect our elected leaders to do what they say they're going to do. and don't behave like, I don't know, Democrats? Seriously. All right, so, Jerry, appreciate that call. Folks, again, our telephone number, 844-747-8868. Hang tight. We're going to get to your calls. Coming up, we're excited to have Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri joining us. He's got a brand new book out about what it means to be a man in America. You're going to want to stick around for this great conversation. By the way, we will have a link to the book on our live show blog. Our telephone number, again, 844-747-8868. That's 844-747-8868. Josh Hawley, Manhood, the Masculine Virtues America Needs. That's going to be a fun conversation. We'll be right back, America.
I'm Ed Horrell, founder of the Kindness Revolution. School may be closing, but unfortunately, bullying doesn't stop. It goes on via digital mediums, referred to as cyberbullying. Here are a few things to know about cyberbullying. It takes place in many forms, such as social media, texting, instant messaging, and email. It can be public or private. Cyberbullies act alone or in groups. In most cases, cyberbullies are anonymous. In all cases, they're cowards. So let's be on the lookout for the symptoms of bullying. These include signs of withdrawal, anxiety, depression, and other changes of behavior. Let's remind our kids not to send or post anything that they wouldn't want their friends or classmates to see. Bullying is a problem that doesn't appear to be going away, so it's our responsibility to stand up and be heard for the sake of our children. To learn more, check us out at thekindnessrevolution.net.
How do you define strength? Is it physical? Or is it mental? Maybe it's both. Maybe it's whatever empowers a person to dig deeper, fight harder, and overcome obstacles that once seemed insurmountable. Discover how much stronger and more confident your children can be. Encourage them to participate in a sport when they go to high school.
This message presented by the Tennessee Secondary School Athletic Association and the Tennessee Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
There's a place to share the joy of your team winning it all, and a place to share a laugh about skiing and taking a fall. There's a place to share photos of pets, or singing in the choir, or the time you ate a pepper and your mouth was on fire. But we could all be better at sharing how we're feeling inside. 76% of employees have struggled with at least one issue that affected their mental health. When you share, you're not alone. Ask about your company's emotional health benefits. Visit heart.org/sharing. Brought to you by the American Heart Association.
One day, in the not-so-distant future.
Mr. Biden.
Just call me Hunter.
Okay, Hunter. What we would like to know is that in light of the evidence we've heard here all week, that shady, unscrupulous people in the Ukraine were willing to pay you a consulting fee for doing absolutely nothing, why did you accept their money?
I was on drugs.
What about that money from Russia?
Drugs again.
And China?
A lot of drugs.
Now, what about you, Mr. President? Can you shed light on all of this?
Yes. Yes. But first, I'm gonna need a lot of drugs.
Oh, dear.
Join us next time when we take you into the future.
I'm a firefighter.
A teacher.
I'm a farmer.
I'm a barber.
A waitress.
A mom.
We're all part of your community.
Every day we move in and out of each other's busy lives. It's easy to take for granted all the little moments that make up our everyday.
Some are good, others not so much.
But that's life. It's when you experience a moment of uncertainty.
Something or someone's behavior that doesn't seem quite right.
These are the moments to take a pause.
Because if something doesn't feel right, it's probably not.
It's not about paranoia
or being afraid.
It's about standing up and protecting our communities.
One detail at a time.
Because a lot of little details can become a pattern.
We
We
trust our instincts. Just like you should.
Because only you know what's not supposed to be in your everyday.
So protect your everyday.
If you see something suspicious, say something to local authorities.
The possibility of lung cancer can be pretty scary, especially if you're one of approximately 8 million current or former smokers at high risk. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know that now there's a breakthrough low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early, and it only takes 60 seconds. You stop smoking, now start screening. For an easy quiz to see if you're eligible, visit SaveByTheScan.org. It could save your life. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
You took the first step and quit smoking, but even former smokers may still be at risk for lung cancer. That's why SaveByTheScan.org wants you to know about a new low-dose CT scan that can detect lung cancer early. It takes only 60 seconds and could save your life. You took the first step, now take the next. Visit SaveByTheScan.org for a simple quiz to see if you're eligible and talk to your doctor about screening. SaveByTheScan.org is brought to you by the American Lung Association's Lung Force Initiative and the Ad Council.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Todd Stearns radio program. Happy to have you with us. And again, we've got some exciting news coming up about a partnership with Newsmax TV. We'll be telling you more about that next week. But I'll be doing a lot of traveling between here and New York City over the next little while. So we're looking forward to those opportunities. All right, 844-747-8868 is our toll-free telephone number. I want to go to the Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line. There's a very important book that you need to read, and especially if you are a man in America. The name of the book, Manhood, The Masculine Virtues America Needs. The author of that book is on the Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line, Senator Josh Hawley from Missouri. Senator, good to have you with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
And congratulations on the book. It's a tough thing to write a book, so congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope it'll be a benefit. You know, I'm a father of two little boys, which is really what inspired me to write this, and I hope it'll be of use to fathers and dads and sons alike.
Senator, I'm probably a few years older than you. I grew up in the 70s and 80s, and I remember when I was a child, they were not medicating little boys. We were sort of rough and tumble. We liked to go out and play. Cowboys, Indians, cops, robbers. And it seems as though now we've got a couple of generations between us where you've got young boys who have been told there's something wrong with that kind of rambunctious behavior.
And you've seen the left act on that, just as you suggest, out in our schools for generations now, really probably about one generation, 20 years or so, where boys who are active are diagnosed with ADD or now ADHD. They are medicated. There's lots of studies and data that's been done now that have been done that show that teachers interrupt boys in their play far more frequently than girls, and we could go on and on. And I think the message that the left and the media have sent consistently is if you are a boy, there's something wrong with you, and if you are a man, you're toxic. I mean, just to be a man is to be toxic, make the world a worse place. We need to send just the opposite message to young men out there that we need you. We need you to step up. We need you to take responsibility. We need you to be fathers and husbands. And if you do that, you can transform your life and also this country.
And looking from a broader perspective, I live downriver from you guys in Memphis, and we have an epidemic of single-parent homes where the fathers are not in the homes. And you look at the violence off the charts, kids wandering around in the streets. It's so vitally important that we have a mom and especially a dad in the family. And yet society, Hollywood, the culture, they've been denigrating fathers. I mean, if you go back in the 1950s and 60s, the TV shows and the movies, dad was an important figure in the equation. Not so much now.
Oh, if you listen to Hollywood and the media, what you would think is that fathers are either a malevolent influence in their kids and their wives' lives, or they're just complete idiots. I mean, that's how they're portrayed. And again, there's a lot of research on this. Look at the numbers. That's how men are portrayed. And the truth is just the opposite. If you want to deal with the epidemic of childhood violence, youth violence in this nation, put fathers into neighborhoods. If you want to solve the problem of childhood poverty in this nation, put fathers into homes. I mean, that's just the facts of the matter. We need to send a message as a society and as a culture that fathers are needed. And for young men, the most powerful, profound thing you can do with your life, if you want to have influence, you want to matter, leave a legacy, get married, have a family, dedicate yourself to sacrificing for those children.
And who knew that would be some sort of a shocking thing in today's society? It's almost counterculture, Senator, what you just said.
It really is remarkable. The fact that the left would talk about manhood, responsible manhood, and fatherhood as hugely controversial. They attack it all the time. They've attacked this book. They absolutely hate it. It is really, really remarkable. Of course, these are the same people who say there's no such thing as men and women, that biological men should be in women's sports and vice versa. It's really crazy how far the left has gone. They've completely lost touch with reality, and they're trying to take our kids along with them for this wild ride, and we can't allow that to happen.
Senator, I was intrigued by the subtitle of your book and the specific word virtue, because how long have we been told that masculinity is toxic, but you're saying that there are virtues there?
Absolutely. Masculinity is a great thing, just like femininity is. And I go back to the Bible, and in the book I tell a lot of stories from the Bible, try to look at what that tells us about what it means to be a man. And it really is that the journey of manhood is a journey of character, where we form these virtues in our souls, in our characters, the virtues of husbands and fathers, of warriors and builders. And I talk about that by telling stories from the Bible, from my life, from American history. And I think the call there is for young men and men of all ages, listen, if you want to change your life, change your character. If you want to change this nation, form your character, become a man of strength, become a man of virtue. And there's no limit to what you can do.
You look at where we are in society, where there really are no uniquely boy things. I mean, even the Boy Scouts of America pretty much jettisoned their value system, now embracing girls or boys who think, or girls who think they are boys. How important is it in the development of a young boy into becoming a young man? How important are those things to the development of that child?
Really, really important. These rites of initiation. Dr. Jordan Peterson was telling me just the other day that this is his words. I think they're good. That nature initiates women, but culture has to initiate men. To get a boy to become a man and take on the character of a man, there needs to be those rites of passage. For me, that was sports, and I end up writing a lot in my book about my own experience with sports and the people who coach me, because that was that was a formative experience for me. But whether it's sports, whether it's some form of scouting, whether it's hunting, and of course service. I mean, for many men, joining the military at a young age, that becomes a profound and powerful rite of passage, and one that's such a huge benefit to our society. Whatever it may be, I think it's so important to find those places for boys. And I just say to the men out there, you can be part of that. Something we need is for mature men and older men to mentor kids, coach. Volunteer your time. Certainly, if you've got sons, give them your time and attention. And that the interplay of the generations there is so critical.
I think and spending time with your sons, helping instead of going out and changing the oil in the car, take your son with you and show him how to do that. Going out there and helping others. Our church here in Memphis, they do something pretty cool for the single moms and the widows. They'll just get a bunch of the guys together, and you can bring your car. They'll change the tires. Whatever needs to be done. Those opportunities of service, I think, to show those young boys this is what it means to be a man.
Absolutely, and seeing those male role models, seeing dad, seeing grandpa, seeing neighbor, seeing folks, seeing the pastor, that is so critical. One study that I heard quoted recently said boys need 5 healthy male role models in addition to their father, optimally. They need a community of men, and I think that's something that in this country we find increasingly difficult. And again, our culture and certainly the left and the media pull against this. They sort of atomize men. But the more time that men can spend together with their sons, camping, serving, hunting, whatever it may be, but where you're modeling for those boys what it looks like to be a strong, virtuous man, boy, that's the ticket.
You look, Senator, and by the way, folks, Senator Josh Hawley joining us today, this very important book you need to read called Manhood, The Masculine Virtues America Needs. Senator, you look at what's happening in the military right now, and it just really troubles me. We're on the verge of armed conflicts on a significant level, and we've had so many of your colleagues on this program saying we don't think we're ready to fight. How important is your book to the future of the country when it comes to things like, again, bolstering up our military and raising up the next generation of men in America?
Well, I've got, as we speak, I've got family members who are proudly wearing the uniform of the United States and serving, and I'm sure proud of them. And just a shout out to one of them, my cousin Jonathan Hawley, who right now is overseas serving. And what I hear from them is that they are incredibly dismayed and the enlisted men. My cousins were enlisted guys. That the enlisted men in particular, they look at what the brass is doing. They look at the ideology that they're trying to shove down these guys' throats and gals' throats, and they just can't believe it. I mean, to have drag queens being promoted as spokespersons for, I think it was the Navy in that case, to have the critical race theory on the reading list to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs. I mean, what in the world? The left is trying to use the military as their social experiment, and once again, their social experiment is an attack on men and an attack on women. It's just the denial of gender. It's insanity. We need to stop it and to speak the truth that men are men. They cannot be women or vice versa, and that's a good thing. It's a good thing to be a man. It's a good thing to be a woman, and we need to stop using the military and the other institutions of society to try and indoctrinate people into the opposite. It's going to be catastrophic, and that's one of the reasons, Todd, that morale is low and recruitment is low. The military can't hit the recruitment numbers. They say, we don't know why. Everybody knows why. It's because people are demoralized with the ideology they're being force-fed.
Senator, one final question here. And by the way, I don't know if you knew this, but, the Washington Post, they didn't like your book very much. I don't know if you knew that, but...
Can't imagine.
But, yeah, go figure. What is the first step? I mean, obviously, a dad reads this book. What is something that a dad can do right out of the gate to start building those virtues in his son?
Spend time. I think time is the key thing. Look, I'm a father myself, as I said. I've got two boys who are 10 and 8, and I've got a baby girl. And I just think, number one, Dad, spend time with your boys. And listen, as fathers, I think we're often aware of the fact we're not as good at it as we could be. I talk to so many dads. It's true for me, too. It's like, oh, man, I messed that up, or I wish I would have said that differently, or I'm afraid I'll screw it up. I just think, you know what, we've got to overcome that. There's grace for that. Spending time with our boys is the number one thing. And then initiate them into things you love to do. What is it that you love to do? Do you love to hunt? Teach them to do that. Do you love to work on cars? Teach them to do that. You love sports? Teach them. It doesn't matter. Hopefully, above all, you'll teach them to love the Lord and read the Bible. But, teach them, bring them into your life. But I just think you can't go wrong by spending time with your sons and daughters. But as we're thinking about boys here, particularly with your young guys.
I love it. Well, Senator, we really appreciate you taking time on this Memorial Day weekend to join us, and congratulations on the new book.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, Senator Josh Hawley from the great state of Missouri, everybody. The name of the book, Manhood, The Masculine Virtues America Needs, and you can get a copy really wherever you buy your book. And get one for your son, get one for if you have an uncle, cousin. Every man in America needs to read this book. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going right to the phones, 844-747-8868. This is The Todd Starnes Show.
It's Radio Free America. Todd Starnes.
Friends, the entire world is experiencing food shortages. Supply chain breakdowns continue to have a domino effect on everything, especially food production. Farmers can't plant as many crops now because of fertilizer shortages, forced regulations, and high fuel prices. This will cause more painful food shortages when we run out of the food we're eating now. Food takes time to grow, so when farmers don't plant, months later, we don't eat. That's why you need to prepare for an increasing number of food shortages. And the best way is to invest in Ready Hour emergency food from My Patriot Supply. It's a perfect hedge against skyrocketing prices and shortages. Right now, save $50 on a 4-week food kit from My Patriot Supply. Go to preparewithtodd.com and get your your $50 savings on 4-week emergency food kits that average over 2,000 calories per day. That's preparewithtodd.com. Those who know what's coming are getting prepared now. Shouldn't you? Preparewithtodd.com.
If you're a business owner like me, then you know hiring is a real challenge, and a bad hire can destroy workplace culture and cost you tens of thousands of dollars to unwind. That's why I use redballoon.work. They specialize in connecting values-aligned job seekers and employers without all the woke nonsense. Over 15,000 job seekers visit redballoon.work every week, looking for businesses that won't force them to pledge allegiance to a bunch of liberal policies. Every job seeker on Red Balloon pledges to pursue excellence in their work, create success for themselves and their employer, and avoid bringing personal political agendas into the workplace. Redballoon.work has packages for entrepreneurs, small businesses, larger enterprise businesses, and even a recruiter service to help you find your people. Finding the right people can make or break your company's future. Check out redballoon.work today. And if you use the promo code STARNS, you'll receive 10% off your first month's job posting. That's promo code STARNS.
Welcome to the Maya and Miguel Challenge. Meet Maya and the gang.
Oh, hi, I'm Maya.
Maya and her friends want you to get up and play, because it's always more fun to be active.
There's mountain biking, boating and fishing, mountain climbing and spelunking. Let's get started.
Get ready to take the Maya and Miguel Challenge.
Let's see.
Just go to letsmove.gov and look for Maya and Miguel. You'll find tons of fun activities that'll help keep you healthy and active. Muy activo. You can also check out healthy recipes to try with your family, play cool games, and get free downloads. So come hang out with Maya, Miguel, and the whole gang.
Go!
Remember, whether you play sports, run, dance, or jump in place, just get up and play at least an hour a day. And don't forget, eat healthy to be your best. Maya and Miguel will show you how at letsmove.gov. That's letsmove.gov. A message from the Ad Council and the Department of Health and Human Services.
180 over 111, and I had a stroke. I couldn't speak or walk.
150 over 90, and I had a stroke.
This is what high blood pressure sounds like. You might not feel its symptoms, but the results from a stroke are far from silent. Get back on your treatment plan or talk with your doctor to create a plan that works for you. Go to loweryourhbp.org.
Head to toe, everything's changed.
Brought to you by the American Stroke Association, American Medical Association, and the Ad Council.
Hi, it's Tori DeVito. In every family, small conversations can make a big impact. Like when my dad shared his experiences as an alcoholic.
Your honesty about that part of your life gave me a sense of integrity that I wanted to uphold in my own life.
I wanted you to know from someone who's been in recovery more than 30 years now that hard work is what creates success, not alcohol or other drugs. I said it a lot, and I'm glad you took it to heart.
Talk, they hear you. For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
All right, let's get to the phones on this Open Line Friday. Let's go to Collierville, Tennessee. Chris listening to us on KWAM, our great flagship station. Chris, what's on your mind?
Hi, Todd. Thank you for taking my call. I really appreciate it. Look, this World Health Organization treaty concerning pandemics and things like that, this thing is so dangerous, it's ridiculous, and it's really sick that the Biden administration is saying, oh, well, it's just an accord. No, it's an actual treaty. It needs to go through the Senate, okay? And it is so dangerous that it would take away the sovereignty of every citizen in the United States of America, as well as the sovereignty of the United States. And there's a great website that has concise, right to the point information. It's a quick read. It lays it all out, who the players are, what the intentions are. Can I mention that website?
Real quick.
Okay, it's sovereigntycoalition.org. And it tells you exactly what's going on with this. This is the model that the Chinese Communist Party has instituted in China. It would, if you don't have the quote-unquote vaccine passport, you could have a lot of things done to you. You wouldn't be able to travel. They could go to your bank account. They could cut off your funding. This is set up to control every aspect of every person's life. This is such dangerous territory, and I really wish that all the radio stations, conservative radio stations, would put a link to this website so that people can, go to this, read it, share it with other people, because we are in really dangerous territory, and they are really severely pushing this agenda. And so I just wanted to get that out there. It's got to be stopped. This has to be stopped. This is the end game right here. I don't care about all this other stuff that's going on in our society right now. I think that's a ruse to cover up for this thing.
All right. Well, Chris, we got it, and we got the information there. I appreciate that call. I know Heritage Foundation has been all over this, and they are adamantly opposed to the draft of this World Health Organization pandemic treaty, which, by the way, treaties would have to be ratified through the Senate. So this is not something the Biden administration can just willy-nilly do. Let's go to Patty. WSIC is our radio affiliate there in North Carolina. Hi, Patty. What's going on?
Hey, Todd. How's my friend doing?
I'm doing well today. Thank you for asking, Patty.
I'm glad. You know what? I love you, Todd. And you know what? I'm going to say something. Great conversation with Senator Hawley. Great. You're right. We need a lot of men, and we need more men. The nuclear family is out the window. Am I right?
I think you're right. I think there's an argument that could be made that it's pretty much done, kaput.
I mean, I grew up with a Sicilian father, and I'm going to tell you something. He was mean, but he taught me how to way to live. And I was a girl, and I had a brother. But guess what? We lived really. We lived by. We had very good virtues to live by. Okay.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to have a father in the family. I don't care, And another thing I want to say, I want to make it real quick. I was watching Ron DeSantis with Eric Bowling last night, and I'm going to tell you something. It is so eerie. Ron DeSantis is a miniature Donald Trump.
Well, he's portraying himself that way, and I just want to make sure he is. I like Ron DeSantis. I just think he's been getting some pretty lousy advice, and his campaign team is not they're not the brightest bulbs. That's all. But we'll see. We're going to play some audio in the next hour, Patty, because again, DeSantis going after Trump and making some accusations that simply turned out not to be true, and we've got the audio evidence to back it up. So we're going to get to that coming up in the next hour. Patty, appreciate you calling in, and thank you for being such a great supporter of this radio program. By the way, I just can't say enough great things about Newsmax. Millions of people are making the switch. After Tucker got whacked by Fox, the Eric Bowling Show shot up over 200% in the ratings, and they have a terrific lineup in prime time now. Greta Van Susteren, you got Eric Bowling, Chris Plant, Rob Schmidt, and they've got an audience. Americans are turning to Newsmax for real news you can trust. And by the way, you got to watch Eric Bowling tonight, 8 o'clock Eastern, and find out why Newsmax is now America's fastest-growing cable news channel. By the way, you can download the free Newsmax app on your smartphone, and you can start watching anytime. So make the switch today to Newsmax. Tell your friends you made the switch, because Newsmax is real news for real people. All right, folks, hang tight. Lines open on this Open Line Friday. We'll be right back.
Balance of Nature, changing the world one life at a time.
I try to take care of myself. I try to eat right. And I love fruits and vegetables. I'd rather have them than anything else, but I know I don't get nearly enough. So I thought I'll try it for 2 months and no harm, no foul. If it doesn't work after that, then I've tried it and at least I know. Within 2 weeks, I noticed a huge difference in my energy, sleeping better at night, and just energy. I would get up in the morning and get up, not just sit around. You guys have got to try this. You have to try it. You owe it to yourself to try it.
Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
The odds of having a boy
1 in 2.
who grows up loving baseball
1 in 6.
and then makes the varsity team,
1 in 20.
which earns him a college scholarship
1 in 2,500.
that gets him a contract in the minors,
1 in 3,700.
which leads to starting shortstop in the majors.
1 in 290,000.
The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism?
1 in 150. You know the odds. Now learn the signs. Go to autismspeaks.org. Autism Speaks. It's time to listen. Brought to you by Autism Speaks and the Ad Council.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Starnes. Stand by for news and commentary next.
Cashback is not available on gas in New Jersey and Wisconsin.
I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute, does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash.
Download the free Upside app now to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code GPS for a $5 bonus on your first tank. That's code GPS for a $5 bonus.
Target and Bud Light have lost a combined $28 billion in earnings since they embraced the transgender movement. The losses are staggering. But instead of reversing course, both companies are doubling down, throwing millions of dollars into gay pride celebrations. But why? Why risk the financial stability of your company? 3 words, ladies and gentlemen: the Human Rights Campaign. The Human Rights Campaign is the nation's largest gay rights organization. They are powerful and well-funded, and they have a notorious reputation for trying to destroy anyone who stands opposed to their agenda. They've even targeted yours truly. They basically bully companies into giving them money through their Corporate Equality Index. That index determines whether that company supports gay employees. It's basically an extortion racket. Their power is so terrifying that companies like Target and Anheuser-Busch would rather go out of business than violate that index. I'm Todd Starnes.
The Todd Starnes Show begins in 4 minutes. Todd Starnes Show begins in 2 minutes. The Todd Starnes Show begins in 1 minute. Live from the Liberty University studio in Memphis, Tennessee, it's America's conservative blowtorch.
That's us. That's right. I love this American ride.
Todd Starnes.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Todd Starnes radio program, hour 3 of the big show. And today is Open Line Friday. So whatever you want to talk about, whatever question you want to ask, we're going to take those calls today. Write down our telephone number, 844-747-8868. That's 844-747-8868. So an interesting back and forth over on Fox News. Julie Banderas was interviewing Mark Thiessen, the Fox News contributor and Washington Post writer. And he said that all the Republicans need to do to win elections for decades is to get Trump off the stage. So Mark Thiessen from the Washington Post, a Fox News contributor, says the best thing that can happen for the Republicans is for Trump to go away. Do you find that to be the case? Is that the right play here? 844-747-8868. Again, our telephone number on this Open Line Friday. You know, Geraldo is a moron, no doubt about that. But the guy is a patriot, and there are such things as patriotic morons. And I have to tell you a great Geraldo story. So one of the best times in New York City is when the fleet is in town, and the ships come up the harbor. They dock on the upper west side, and up and down the Hudson River. And it's Fleet Week. And so you have a lot of sailors, a lot of military personnel wandering around town. And so anyway, Geraldo was at a restaurant the other night, and he noticed that there were a bunch of Marines in town. And so he went over to the maitre d'. He's over at Smith & Walensky. By the way, it's a great steakhouse over on the east side, actually near Newsmax's new headquarters. Been there a time or two. Well, to Newsmax and Smith & Walensky. So anyway, Geraldo's over there having a steak. They have great steaks. And he summons the waiter over, and he said, "Waiter, see those guys in uniform, those Marines? I want to buy their supper." I mean, that's a pretty noble thing to do. And so the waiter leans back into Geraldo and says, "Yeah, too late. You've got about 2 or 3 other people in the restaurant that had already offered to pick up the tab." Isn't that a great story? So even in New York City, you've got some pretty awesome people in that restaurant, and they wanted to honor those Marines by picking up their dinner tab. That's pretty awesome. But Geraldo, good for you, sir. And that says a lot about your heart, and we appreciate that. Your politics, okay, it is what it is. So, but good for you, Geraldo. All right, wow. Let's get to the phones here, and then we're going to play some audio from Ron DeSantis. Our good buddy Joe from LJ, Georgia, is actually vacationing in Sea Isle in Georgia. Joe, what's going on?
Todd, I'm down here at Sea Island with a lot of great patriots, and let me tell you something. I know DeSantis announced the other night, but I'm talking to people from all over the country, and I totally disagree with what Mark Thiessen said. Trump is the overwhelming favorite down here. In fact, I'd say for every 10 people I interview, I say 9 of them are for Trump and 1 of them are for DeSantis, and even some Florida people. I think that's totally wrong of Thiessen. I certainly think Trump's going to win, and I think he'll. I just saw a poll yesterday that he was beating Biden 52-47, and I think it was a Harris poll. But I think he'll win by a landslide, and I think he'll get the nomination. So I'm certainly strongly for him. And about everybody I'm talking to down here in Sea Island from all over the country, they're for him. I'd say 80 to 90% of them support Donald Trump.
Now,
so I just wanted to report that to
Joe,
you.
that's good to hear. So he's going to he's going to landslide in Sea Island. That's good news.
Yes, sir. That's my opinion. And they love your show down here, Todd. Run into a lot of people down here that will listen to your show, and they love you, and they love your show. And I just want to say keep up the good work, and happy Memorial Day, my friend.
Joe, happy Memorial. Now, how does Joe from LJ vacation? Are you sitting poolside with one of those drinks with the umbrella in it?
I'm not right now.
All right, well.
I just did a walk. I walk every day about 45 minutes.
Oh, wow.
I walked on the beach, and now I'm back home getting ready to take a shower and go to dinner later on tonight. But it's a great place. See how
it's beautiful.
Place and a lot of fine people.
All right, Joe, tell everybody we said hello, including Mrs. Joe, and we always love hearing from you.
Thank you, Todd. Have
All
a
right.
great weekend.
Joe from LJ, Georgia, on vacation down at Sea Island. What a beautiful spot that is. Let's go to John in Kentucky, wants to weigh in on veterans affairs. Hi, John. What's on your mind today?
Hey there, Todd. Well, on the situation with the fat person, don't worry, they'll outgrow it. Sorry, I had to say that.
Well, there you go. All right.
Okay, I'm sorry. I had to do that dad joke for a minute. But, Todd, real quick, Memorial Day weekend is coming, and you know the true meaning of it because you have a heart and love for the veterans. But what I'm really ticked off about right now, these Democratic representatives are sitting in Washington and say they won't compromise on this debt ceiling, and the first person that's going to affect are our military, their families, the retirees, and the disabled veterans. And a lot of these veterans rely on that to make it through the month or just to even make a mortgage payment. And, they're finger pointing towards the Republicans and, that group, that the conservatives, the American, I can't remember I'm really upset right now, but the Freedom Caucus, they're trying to blame them, but they've already said that they've already made the compromises that need to be made. And they assured the veterans and the families that they're going to still continue to get the money, but yet the Democrats will not do anything about it. And yet they're not taking the time to stay in Washington. They want to go home, and a lot of the rhinos too. You just had Josh Hawley on, and he has somebody that's deployed. They want to go over there and pay lip service to the war dead and shake hands and thank you for the service. These politicians would rather send money to the Ukraine, give illegals great medical care, and give them the cell phone instead of taking care of our military. When it comes to rubber meets the road, Todd, that tire fell flat. And where are the service organizations? Where's the American Legion? Where are the VFWs? They're not saying anything. Are they scared they're going to lose their congressional charter? Todd, one of the things I've always noticed about you and your staff is there is a wrong that needs to be made a right. You do it. You call even the conservatives on the carpet when it comes to taking care of our nation's elderly and our nation's veterans, our nation's active duty, and our veterans that are disabled. So, Todd, I just want to take this moment to say thank you for what you're doing. You might not have served in the military, but you, seriously, from our entire family, my wife who's a Marine, she runs the house, of course, and myself, I want to thank you for fighting for us because you know what? Somebody said the voters are at fault, but the voters are the ones that put the politicians in so they can do all the lip service. But, Todd, you continue to call them on the carpet. You do what's right. And I want to say God bless you and keep you and your entire staff. Thank you for giving us a voice. When the politicians aren't listening, they shake in their boots and pee their pants when you get them on the carpet.
All right. Well, John,
God bless you, Todd.
Well, thank you for that. And yes, we don't mind when we make a politician soil their pants. That's normally a good day around these parts. But to John's point, you know, it's really appalling that our veterans are not better taken care of in this country. And that's what angers me about Ukraine. We're spending hundreds of billions of dollars in Ukraine when that money could be used to take care of our veterans here at home. I'll give you an example in Memphis, which is in Shelby County, largest county in the state of Tennessee. Now, there's a smaller county. I think they have like 40,000 members. And in this one county, they have 10 Veterans Affairs caseworkers or agents. And I'm getting the terminology wrong, but bear with me. So that's 10 in a small county like that. Here in Memphis, we only had two, and we have the largest veterans population in the entire state. We should have at least 24. But again, this is what it's going to take. It's getting out there, as John just said, and calling your elected leaders and telling them to take care of the veterans. I mean, shame on us if we don't take care of those who sacrificed for this country. I want to play some audio here. This is really getting a little bit out of hand already in the Republican circles. So Ron DeSantis is going after Donald Trump, and he's accusing President Trump of turning over America to Dr. Fauci. Cut number 4.
I think he did great for 3 years, but when he turned the country over to Fauci in March of 2020, that destroyed millions of people's lives. And in Florida, we were one of the few that stood up, cut against the grain, took incoming fire from media, bureaucracy, the left, even a lot of Republicans, had schools open, preserved businesses. And so Florida, since COVID, has outperformed virtually any state in the country when you look at all these significant metrics. I mean, we're booming. We've got people moving in here. Wealth is coming in here. And so I think when people look back, you know, that 2020 year was not a good year for the country as a whole. It was a situation where Florida started to stand alone. So I think that that's an important contrast.
So he was doing an interview, I think that was with Glenn Beck. And did you hear what Beck said? Yeah. You see, I want to explain why Ron DeSantis will go on that program, but he will not come on this program. Because we would have called out Governor DeSantis. We would have been polite about it. But what the governor was offloading there on Glenn Beck's radio program for his national audience was a load of fertilizer. And it wasn't even grade A fertilizer. It was crapola. So, again, DeSantis said, oh, well, we were taking care of the businesses while Trump was shutting everything down. First of all, Trump gave that authority to the individual states. Second of all, we were right in the throes, the early stages of the pandemic when nobody knew what was going on. And at the time, it seemed like a prudent thing to do at the time. But after the 2 weeks, went to 4 weeks, went to 6 weeks, went to, 2 years? Well, yeah, that's when it became a problem. But you can't pull this one. You can't drop this one on Trump. And here's the reason why. Again, I told you, folks, we've got the audio. So if the governor would have come on this program, I would have said, well, Governor, I hear what you're saying, but, sir, isn't it true that you actually threatened to suspend businesses that did not shut down or did not enforce social distancing? And he would have said, I never said such a thing. And I would have replied, Josh, play cut number 8.
But it is important to follow the guidelines. And if people see a pub or a restaurant, you know, if they're operating at 55%, okay, give them a warning, tell them, hey, 50. But if you go in and it's just like mayhem, like Dance Party USA, and it's packed to the rafters, that's just cut and dry, and that's not just an innocent mistake. And so I told him, No tolerance for that. Just suspend the license, and then we'll move on. And then people will, I hopefully, get the message that these guidelines are in place for a reason.
So there you go. So Ron DeSantis was out there threatening to shut down businesses and to punish businesses that did not follow the social distancing rules and regulations. And it doesn't stop there. So again, if the governor had come on the program, he would have said, hey, look, Trump was shutting down the nation, but I kept everything open in Florida. Really, Mr. Governor? Are you sure about that? Absolutely. Well, Governor, what if I told you that we have audio evidence of you saying the beaches were going to be shut down? I never said such a thing. All right, Governor. With all due respect, Josh, would you play cut number 9?
So the message, I think, for spring breakers is that the party's over in Florida. You're not going to be able to congregate on any beach in the state. Bars are closed, so you're not going to have a place to congregate there. So we would just tell those folks, maybe come back next year when things are better, but that is not what we're looking for here in the state of Florida. Every single beach will have to abide by the CDC guidelines. No more than 10 people. You have to be socially distant. Not every beach is going to remain open, but some will. Well, people are being they're being very mindful. A lot of folks are really taking this seriously, and we thank them, particularly our senior citizens.
Now, I'm just going to be graceful here. I'm going to extend some grace. And I'm not willing to call DeSantis a liar. I'm not going to suggest that we should question his integrity. Maybe, just maybe, he forgot what he did to the good people of the state of Florida during the China virus pandemic. But I also remember some photographs that were taken. You might have remembered the photographs that featured a very popular political candidate at the time, and the candidate was in a classroom filled to the brim with children, and the children were forced to wear these face diapers, and yet the candidate, who was invited to read a storybook, was sitting there without any sort of face covering on at all. Do you guys you remember that? Yeah, no, I'm not talking about Stacey Abrams. I'm talking about Ron DeSantis. So again, folks, if DeSantis wants to play this game, he can play that game, but we play that game very well too. Got to take a break. 844-747-8868, toll-free telephone number. That's 844-747-8868. This is the Todd Starnes Show.
You're with Todd Starnes.
I talk to a lot of small business owners, and they tell me their biggest challenges are finding reliable job seekers who will actually show up to work, who are motivated to grow and improve, and who won't bring their divisive woke politics into the workplace. That's why redballoon.work is so important for America's small business community. They specialize in connecting values-aligned job seekers and employers without all that woke nonsense. And every job seeker on Red Balloon pledges they'll pursue excellence in their work, focus on creating success for themselves and their employer, and avoid bringing personal political agendas into the workplace. So if you want motivated, reliable employees who still believe in working hard, growing a career, and delivering value to their employer, then visit redballoon.work today. And if you use the promo code STARNS, you'll get 10% off your first month's job posting. That's promo code STARNS, or look for the link at redballoon.work. Well, our good friend Mike Lindell is back at it again. Hello, everybody. I'm Todd Starnes. Mike Lindell not only created the best pillow, but now he's created the best towel in the world. That's right. Mike Lindell found the best towel company right here in the USA. They have proprietary technology to create towels that feel soft but actually work. And they're all made with USA cotton. They come with the MyPillow 60-day money-back guarantee. Get this, folks. You're going to get a 6-piece set, 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths made with USA cotton, soft yet absorbent. Normally $109.99, now just $39.99. All you need to do is go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, and get deep discounts on all MyPillow products, including the towels. Just enter the promo code STARNS or call 800-839-8506 for these great radio specials. That's 800-839-8506. Use the promo code STARNS.
It is an uncertain time for us all, but kids in foster care have always known an uncertain future. Now, more than ever, we see what it means to truly connect with others in a way we didn't fully appreciate through the simple, little things we do. It's those little things that also make a big difference to a kid in foster care, to help them become all they were meant to be. During a time when taking care of each other is by far most important, Youth Villages Foster Care asks that you consider opening your home to these young people who are without one. To keep us all safe and healthy during this time, Youth Villages is offering virtual presentations with information to address your thoughts and questions about fostering a child. Learn how you can become a foster parent at youthvillages.org/foster. Youth Villages. Foster a little hope. Brought to you by Youth Villages in cooperation with this station and the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the Lingo.
GOAT, G-O-A-T, acronym, stands for Greatest of All Time. As in, spaghetti sandwiches for dinner? They're my fave. Dad, you're the GOAT.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
Wake up and text. Text and eat. Text and meet up with a friend you haven't seen in forever.
Hi.
Oh, hey. Text and complain that they're on their phone the whole time. Text and listen to them complain that you're on your phone the whole time. Text and whatever. But when you get behind the wheel, give your phone to a passenger. Put it in the glove box. Just don't text and drive. Visit StopTextsStopWrecks.org. A message from NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Email from school about the incident today.
Scary.
You know, teachers like me, parents, we don't always know as much as you guys do about what's going on with other kids.
Half the time, it's rumors.
Yeah, but if you're ever concerned about a friend who's having trouble with alcohol, prescription drugs, anything, you need to tell an adult, someone you know and trust. That can be hard, but speaking up about a problem is what helping a friend is all about.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
All right, welcome back to the Todd Starnes Radio Show. Good to have you with us today. Memorial Day weekend, a lot of people heading out and about over the country. Let's go to the phones here. Chris in North Carolina. Hi, Chris. What's on your mind today?
Hey, Todd. How are you?
I'm good.
Nice to talk to you. I wanted to say something first. Other times that I've called, I never told you how happy I was to hear your voice on that Monday after you got out of the hospital. I was so happy.
Well, Chris, I got to tell you, I was kind of happy to hear my voice, too.
I bet. Anyway, I was
Hey,
going
Chris,
to add to the...
Chris, do me a favor. Turn down your radio. We're getting a little bit of feedback, if you don't mind, and then go right. No, it's all good, all good.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Add to the lady that called in about Walmart. I'm not a CEO, but Walmart's been talking about how much money they've been losing with the self-checks. Hey, I can figure that out. And like I said, I'm not a CEO. Just shut the self-checks down. You know, just do the cashiers. I won't go to a self-check because the lady told me last year that before Christmas, they were working her 60 hours a week, and after Christmas, they cut her down to like 30 hours. And I'm not going to do somebody out of a job. And another thing, I saw a lady walk in Walmart with a whole bunch of empty Walmart bags. She filled them up with her stuff and walked out. They didn't have a person, you know, at the door watching people.
And she just walked right out.
Yeah, she just walked right out.
Wow. You know, Chris, I go to the Costco every now and again. You know what drives me nuts? You go in there, and first of all, they don't give any bags, so you got to load everything up on these crates. and you pay your bill, and then you walk out the door. Before you walk out the door, they stop you. So there's another massive long line as they go down the checklist to make sure everything has been purchased. I'm saying surely there has to be a better system. That, and I'm not a big fan of the hot dogs. I know everybody loves their hot dogs. I tried one, and I just don't get it. It's okay, I guess, but I'm not sure. They said, it's worth the cost of membership. So
I don't eat out because I like to do my own cooking. I like to know what oil's been used, and I like to do my own salt and pepper, et cetera, and I know my food is fresh. I don't know if it's fresh. I've gotten sick too many times, regurgitated, and had the other end going too.
All right, Chris, thank you for that. All right, good hearing from you, and thanks for those kind words. No, I know I probably shouldn't have said anything, but it's just a hot dog. I've had better at Nathan's. There I said it. We'll be right back, America.
You're not wired to have a response to this sound. You're neutral to it. You hear it every time you finish a meal and never feel anything. But if we were able to associate this sound with a new stimulus, save the food, we've achieved pulling a natural response from you. Save the food. Why are we doing this, you may ask? Save the food. Because this ad is trying to change your after-meal behavior through brainwashing. Because food waste costs the average family $1,500 a year. Save the food. Cha-ching. And $1,500 extra bucks is like getting a pay raise. Save the food. Cha-ching. You're promoted. Which could pay for your child's braces. Save the food. Cha-ching. You're promoted.
Check out my braces.
So when you hear this sound, rethink your behavior. Cook it, store it, share it. Just don't waste it. For tips and recipes, visit SaveTheFood.com. Brought to you by NRDC and the Ad Council.
We all make choices about alcohol. Kids make choices whether to drink or not.
Bye, Dad. Remember, I'm going to Alex's party tonight and sleeping over.
Hey, remind me about that party again?
And adults make choices whether to talk about it. That's true of parents and every other trusted adult in a kid's life. Kids want to know our expectations, and they want honest answers in everyday conversations. So talk with your kids and help lead them on a positive path, because when you talk, they hear you. Learn more at underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. We all want our kids to grow up safe and healthy, so we show them how, and we tell them with honest conversations that let them know what we expect. That's especially important when it comes to alcohol and other drugs. Kids need to know the dangers and how to avoid them. And when it comes to pain medications, opioids, they need to know that they should never be taken without a prescription and never shared with friends or family. It's dangerous and illegal. So talk with your kids, because when you talk, they hear you.
Turn an ordinary day into a super fantastic family day at the all-new Brandon Falls, America's summertime destination. Bike your way through the heart of Delaware and meet the zany characters of Brandon Falls, like Pedo Peter.
Gather around, children. Let me smell your hair.
And after you've worked up an appetite, enjoy a south of the border taco at the Brandon Falls Bodega. Or for some lighter fare, try our gluten-free Kamala Ward salad, chock full of nuts.
Hey, Mom, let's go to Brandon Falls.
I'll go get the bicycles.
Whoa!
And I'll get the first aid kit.
Fun for the whole family. Plan your trip to Brandon Falls today. Let's go to Brandon.
Yay!
Not paid for by the Delaware Department of Travel and Tourism.
This is the story of a boy wizard whose name was Larry Smarter.
Larry, why weren't you in Professor Dinky Doodle's mythical creature classification class?
Larry wanted to go to college, so he visited knowhowtogo.org to find which classes he really needed.
You missed the lesson on telling dragons from dragonflies.
Right. I want to go to college, so I'm taking Algebra 2, Biology, and a foreign language.
Foreign language? You mean so you can talk to unicorns?
Well, not exactly. Unless they're French.
But Larry had no time for unicorns, or even for Miss Petunia Tootie's time-traveling tutorial, which met every other yesterday at 25 o'clock.
Sorry I'm late. My snarkball game went into overtime.
And he knew knowhowtogo.org was way better than hoping for a snockball scholarship. So, while his friends all aced invisibility, when Larry finally got to college, they were nowhere to be seen.
Brought to you by the American Council on Education, Lumina Foundation for Education, and the Ad Council.
Hi, we're the Goo Goo Dolls. We're fortunate that our daughters have what they need to grow and learn. But that isn't the case for nearly 13 million kids in the U.S. that struggle with hunger.
Childhood hunger is a heartbreaking reality that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and provides it to families and children in need.
You can help kids in need in your community by visiting feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
When you went car shopping, you meant business. You aced vehicle history searches and test drives. You out-salesmaned the salesman. Now you've got your wheels. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll have the info you need to get more for your future. Go to aceyourretirement.org, because when it comes to speeding past financial challenges, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Hey, Dieter, I got to tell you, we got some news. So Madonna is coming to Tennessee. She's going to be doing a concert in Nashville. She's also out there promoting her new coffee table book called Sex. Wow. 64 years old, Madonna is. She probably doesn't need to be moving too provocatively. She might throw out a hip or something.
She doesn't look a day over 15, Todd.
She's like 90.
I
She
know.
looks like she's 90. Whoever would have thought that at this stage of their life, Roseanne Barr would look better than Madonna? Who would have thought that?
That's what happens when you go woke.
Anyway, Madonna says that she's coming to Nashville and she wants to get arrested by performing with drag queens. So she says that's on her bucket list.
Wow. What a woman of valor. She's a dandy.
What's the other one? There's another. What's the one that dresses up in the meat? Lady Gaga.
Lady Gaga, Todd.
Yes, that's what
How
I
many
said.
times do we have to go over phonetics? It's
Gaga. Yeah.
Gaga.
Goo goo.
Oh, okay.
Go Gaga over Goo Goo. No, Goo Goo over Gaga. Anyway. All right, well, there you go. Good luck with that. Madonna, apparently, she doesn't read the newspapers because a judge has actually put the hold on that law. So she'll be dancing with the drag queens for naught. So there you go. All right, welcome back to the Todd Stearns radio program. We've been following this wokeness that has infected the culture. Target, North Face, the L.A. Dodgers, it goes on and on. Tim Barton on the Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line, president of Wall Builders. And, Tim, good to have you on the show today.
Well, Todd, thanks for having me back on.
Yeah, we were talking about this in the opening monologue of the show. I think a lot of people are not aware of the Human Rights Campaign and the work they are doing to really undermine the traditional values that made America great.
Yeah, it really is sad when you see some of the hijacking of some of these noted movements over time. When we look back at in history, some of the civil rights movement, I mean, really, even as we get ready for Memorial Day, right? Memorial Day goes back to Decoration Day from the Civil War. And when you talk about civil rights, I mean, really, that's what the Civil War largely was about. And coming at the end of the Civil War, when you had so much positive ground that was made for equality, so many things were passed. And then, of course, there were lots of issues. You had some Democrats in deep southern states who continued with their racist ideas, and you had the Jim Crow laws. And so then you have the civil rights issues happening in the 1960s. And you see so many advancements, positive movement in America. And then when you look at some of the really positive things that have been done and then be hijacked by people who are now promoting really perverseness and evil and trying to force this on kids and on parents. And you have states that are passing laws and to protect teachers and school districts to say that they don't have to tell parents what they're doing with the kids and they can help kids transition and get them medication. I mean, just crazy wokeness. And they've hijacked things that historically have been positive things that have helped America advance and become better. And now they're using those movements to promote evil and to really damage kids with some of this life-altering surgeries and medication that these kids will never recover from in this perverse and evil way. It's really sad to see what's happening.
Well, it is, and it's so important for us to get a handle on this. We talk about the health and the well-being of the country. When you look at world history and ancient history, we know there have been great societies that have literally killed themselves. They've destroyed themselves from within because of the debauchery.
Yeah, and as you mentioned, with some of these great civilizations, nearly every one of their falls has been a decay of morality. And it's, even if you back up historically in America, there was great leaders, political leaders, thought leaders, moral leaders in American history who identified some of these issues. Daniel Webster, a noted political leader, really phenomenal guy, the early 1800s, served in the House and Senate for 30 years. But one of the things that he identified was if America ever fell, it would be because of the internal decay of morals from within. He said that no nation can conquer America. If America falls, it's going to be because we've lost our moral compass, our moral footing. And this is what we are seeing right now. The history of the world shows us when nations, powerful nations, when they lose a sense of right and wrong, when they lose that moral compass and they can no longer tell basic values anymore, their nation is not going to last much longer. And unfortunately, that is what we are seeing America on that precipice. Now, as Christians and believers, we can be praying, and we should be praying for revival, that God would reach the hearts and minds of people, that we would once again embrace basic biblical values and things that would help solve so many of these problems. But if we don't have some level of awakening, some level of restoration, America will go the same direction that every other nation has gone for the history of the world, and that's empires when they become immoral, when they lose a sense of right and wrong and base morality, they cease to be a powerful nation.
Tim Barton with us from Wall Builders. And Tim, of course, Memorial Day weekend, there are lots of ceremonies and commemorations around the country, but a lot of people don't understand the history and the reason why. We take a moment and we pause and we remember on what was previously known, as you pointed out, Decoration Day.
Yeah, it's something that unfortunately there's some noted holidays in American history that we have done such a poor job in education. We don't understand the significance of these days and these moments. And if you talk to individuals in the military, and especially military veterans, this is not Veterans Day. This is not honoring the people that have served, although certainly we want to honor people that serve all the time. But the people that have served, they can tell you so much at the deeper level. It's appreciating the people that have laid down their life for our freedom. The Bible tells us that greater love is no one than that he lays down his life for his friend. And Memorial Day is taking time to remember those people. It started all the way back at the end of the Civil War. There were multiple states that began having these decoration days where they just wanted to honor the people that had laid down their life for country, for a sense of moral kind of salvation, so to speak. And what was happening in America at World War I, this became a little more of a formal celebration, and celebration is not the right word, but a formal acknowledgement that we want to appreciate those individuals who have paid the ultimate price. And as we look at where our nation is today, it's so easy to get caught up in the politics and the drama of what's happening in the nation and lose sight of the fact that even with all of our problems, all of our drama, we still enjoy so many freedoms and so many blessings that we would not have if it were not for individuals who willingly put their lives on the line for us to be able to enjoy those freedoms and blessings along the way. And we definitely need to take time to appreciate and be grateful for those that have gone before us. And really, as I mentioned, even military veterans, we need to take time to appreciate them on this weekend as well, because for many of them, they will be recalling some of their friends they lost along the way, and they need our support in some of these challenging and trying times. But really, we should be so grateful for the land we live in, the freedoms, the blessings we enjoy. Again, in the midst of challenges, in the midst of problems, we need to solve and fix those problems, but we need to appreciate those who paid the ultimate price for us to be able to live the American dream.
You mentioned real quick, Tim. You mentioned some of those heroes, and that's one of the challenges I think in our school system is we don't teach the stories about the heroes and the sacrifice they made. I know you write about this. You guys have so many great resources, and you talk about one example of heroism on the. This happened during the campaign of Guadalcanal, which was back in the early 1940s during World War II.
Yeah, so I'm glad you brought this up. There's so many heroes we could talk about, and You know, Todd, you've mentioned some of these things and thoughts before on the program. It's crazy with how many amazing heroes we have in American history that we have so often bad stories coming out of Hollywood, right? We have bad movies when, man, we could be highlighting so many amazing stories. One of them is a guy named John Basilone. And there's several moments in his story of heroism. There were times when he was leading an American group of soldiers, and they were surrounded by Japanese, outnumbered by the hundreds to one as far as that percentage. I mean, so outnumbered, and he just starts laying down fire, protecting his guys. Some of his guys are dying around him. The battle got so thick and heavy that he actually had to go out and move some of the bodies. He'd killed so many guys trying to protect his troops, trying to hold the line, that the bodies were stacked so high he couldn't see past them to see the other guys that were coming in. He had to get past the line, push bodies out of the way. And when we think about combat and the trauma that people go through, I mean, some of these guys, what they saw, what they did to try to end some of the evil that we have seen in the world. This is who John Basilone was. He's a guy that should be remembered, that should be celebrated, who should be honored. And unfortunately, because we don't tell the stories of these heroes anymore, most people have never heard of them. So I would encourage people, go look up the story of John Basilone, see all the amazing things he did, and know he's just one of tens of thousands of some of the amazing heroes that have paved the way for us as Americans to enjoy our freedoms and our blessings.
Well said. And we've got a lot of those stories at wallbuilders.com, everybody. So wallbuilders.com. Pull those stories out and give them to your kids. Read them yourself, and let's educate the next generation of American patriots on the great heroes that secured our freedom. Tim, I really appreciate the time that you spent with us today, and we greatly appreciate the fine work you guys are doing there at Wall Builders.
Thanks so much, Todd. Appreciate you guys.
All right. Tim Barton on the Patriot Mobile Newsmaker line. So let me tell you the rest of the story about John Basilone. So he was at two major battles, the Battle of Guadalcanal, where, as Tim described, he saved many, many lives. Then at Iwo Jima, he was making his way to an airfield, and he came across an American tank that got trapped in a minefield. So Basilone is under fire. He guides the tank out of the minefield, and the tank arrived safely, but he was killed by flying shrapnel. And he was awarded the Navy Cross for his courageous actions posthumously, of course. He was also awarded the Congressional Medal of Honor for his actions at Guadalcanal. We need to be teaching next generation patriots these great stories, right? And that's the point of this radio program, is that we want to do that every single day. All right, let's go to the phones here, 844-747-8868. Connor in Boston. Connor, what's on your mind today?
Todd, first of all, it was a pleasure. But I'm going to tell you, the last guest you had on talking about Memorial Day and the loss of, America's lost its appreciation for this as a holiday. And I really think that this has to do with the left. And, quite frankly, due to, the repugnant way that the President Biden has treated our military men and women. It'll be very interesting to see how he honors our fallen military men and women on Memorial Day. But my hopes aren't very high for him.
Well, it's because it's not high on the priority. They hate our military. They hate our country. They hate us. They hate what we stand for. And so I'm not surprised, Connor, that they would not go out of their way to honor and remember the sacrifices of these great patriots.
And, maybe if the far left, the alt-left, as the way I look at it, and the Biden administration focused on putting, America's history and putting our fallen men and women into our education system, into their speeches, maybe a lot of people in this country would appreciate our fallen men and our women, our military men and women who serve right now, because we appreciate them in my household every day of the year. It's not just one day.
There you go. Connor, well said, and hope you and your family have a great, tremendous weekend.
You as well, my friend.
All right, Connor in Boston. Oh, boy, big trouble in Greenville, South Carolina, which, by the way, happens to be a beautiful town. If you haven't been to downtown Greenville, South Carolina, get the wife, the kids in the car, head down. It's just a lot of fun. But, Ben Dieter, this is very problematic. You know, Juneteenth is coming up, and that's where the celebration, the holiday marking the emancipation of black slaves. So it's a big deal. So June's a busy month in the Hallmark card section because you have Gay Pride Month, and then you have Juneteenth. So anyway, Greenville, South Carolina, setting up all of these beautiful banners all over town commemorating Juneteenth and the big celebrations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is a good thing. That's a noble thing, right? You want to let people know, hey, we got to celebrate the emancipation of the slaves. There's just a problem.
What's that?
Well, it turns out that the Juneteenth banners featured two people on the banners, and they were both people of the Caucasian persuasion. They didn't have any black folks on the Juneteenth banners.
Oh, man.
Oh, it is. I mean, people are triggered.
I mean, if the NAACP doesn't issue a travel advisory against Greenville, they're not doing their job.
They're accusing the white people of erasing everything black. No, if you want to, hey, we can have that conversation here in Memphis, Tennessee, but they're erasing everything white here. Anyway, people are enraged. A spokesman for Fighting Injustice Together says, I was appalled, I was saddened, I was angry because the banner only showed a smiling white man and woman.
I mean,
it's terrible.
I'm looking at the banner, and in all fairness to this activist, you could have chose a different model. That's all I'll say.
So the black business leaders in charge of all of this, by the way, this is not, don't put this on the white folks. This is not a Caucasian problem. The black business leaders, according to the New York Post, the black business leaders who made up the Juneteenth board defended the banner. And they say they were trying to reflect the diversity of the local community. What are they thinking? Are you kidding me? Juneteenth isn't about diversity, sir.
It's rough.
Oh man.
How do you make that? How do you print those? Where was the last person to sign off on this? I want to talk to him.
Well, I'll tell you, it's not good. It's not good. You know, the only hope is that the white people were actually self-identifying.
Right. Because they could identify as black Americans, and then who's to say they shouldn't be on the banner? Though this kind of looks like, is it the Tanger or the Tanger? I can never get it right.
Tanger.
It looks like an advertisement for the Tanger outlets.
Yeah, it doesn't like ooze like Juneteenth, right? It's like more like
an H&M model.
We have a sale going on.
Yeah.
It's
maybe they do.
Could be. I don't know. But it's funny because the black leaders were trying to be diverse and inclusive, and that's not what Juneteenth is about. I could have even told them that. Just head on downtown to Memphis, where they got a giant hair pick sticking in the middle of the park.
Oh my gosh,
where
Todd,
Jefferson Davis used to be.
I was running beside it yesterday, and there was a whole group of people out taking a photo with the hair pick.
Gotta run. We'll be right back.
Triggering microaggressions from coast to coast. It's Todd Starnes.
Friends, the entire world is experiencing food shortages. Supply chain breakdowns continue to have a domino effect on everything, especially food production. Farmers can't plant as many crops now because of fertilizer shortages, forced regulations, and high fuel prices. This will cause more painful food shortages when we run out of the food we're eating now. Food takes time to grow, so when farmers don't plant, months later, we don't eat. That's why you need to prepare for an increasing number of food shortages. And the best way is to invest in Ready Hour emergency food from My Patriot Supply. It's a perfect hedge against skyrocketing prices and shortages. Right now, save $50 on a 4-week food kit from My Patriot Supply. Go to preparewithtodd.com and get your your $50 savings on 4-week emergency food kits that average over 2,000 calories per day. That's preparewithtodd.com. Those who know what's coming are getting prepared now. Shouldn't you? Preparewithtodd.com.
Hello, Americans. I'm Todd Starnes. America is in a funk, and that's why I wrote our daily biscuit, Devotions with a Drawl. It's a collection of inspirational and encouraging and hilarious stories about exceptional Americans who are doing good deeds, stories about faith and family, God and country. I do have hope for America because my hope is not based on a political party. My hope is built on a much higher power. Our daily biscuit, it's a buttermilk biscuit for the soul.
America has a new choice for fair and balanced news. ToddStarnes.com. Journalism you can trust from some of the best reporters and opinion writers in the business. ToddStarnes.com takes you to the front lines of the culture war, defending faith, freedom, and your family. ToddStarnes.com also features exclusive interviews with America's top newsmakers like Mike Huckabee, Franklin Graham, and Newt Gingrich. Find out why millions of Americans read ToddStarnes.com every day. It's news you can trust. ToddStarnes.com.
I'm from X, and we're talking to real smokers about quitting. Tell me when you smoke and why you smoke.
First thing I do in the morning is get some coffee and have a cigarette.
If I have a cup of coffee, I gotta have a cigarette.
As soon as I wake up.
Okay.
With coffee, after I eat, and in between snacks.
Okay.
When I'm bored.
Pretty much all the time.
Yeah.
Have you tried to quit?
I quit for 3 months, went out one night, bought a pack of cigarettes, and that was the end.
I've actually tried to quit cold turkey, and that's really hard.
You ever hear about stories like, and then he threw the pack out the window and he never smoked again?
Now, I've actually heard a guy throw a pack out the window, but he went to go buy another pack.
What would you do different?
Actually having a plan and thinking it through.
It's like you have to relearn yourself not to smoke, especially at times when you really know this is the time I have the cigarette, like in the morning after coffee.
You have to relearn how to live your life without a cigarette in your hand.
With the right plan, you can quit smoking. Free at becomeanx.org. X, a new way to think about quitting. Brought to you by X and the Ad Council.
Not completing high school is more of a social thing than it was an academic thing. Even though all these years have passed, I still had that longing to have my diploma.
At age 30, Carissa finished her high school diploma.
If you're even considering getting your high school diploma, you can do it.
No one gets a diploma alone. If you're thinking of finishing your high school diploma, you have help. Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org. That's finishyourdiploma.org. Brought to you by the Dollar General Literacy Foundation and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Jelly. Jelly adjective. Jelly is a shorter, better way to say jealous. As in, Chloe, I am like so jelly of your unicorn phone case.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt US Kids, and the Ad Council.
All right, folks, welcome back to the Todd Starnes radio program. If you are anywhere near Memphis this evening, Ben Dieter and I and some of the other staff at the Mighty 990 KWAM are going to be at the beautiful Overton Shell in Overton Park. The Bellevue Baptist Orchestra and some of their friends are going to be playing a Pops concert under the stars tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun, and we love to see you come out for that. Also, Monday, of course, Memorial Day. Find a place where they are holding a ceremony or service. Bring your kids and let them see what Memorial Day is really all about. And it's so incredibly important. And again, if you're in a town that is celebrating Fleet Week and you see some Marines or sailors, you go over, shake their hand, and ask the waiter just to give you the tab. All right, folks, we got to get out of here. Thanks to Josh, Ben, Grace, our great team here. You folks have a great Friday, and whatever you do, be sure to go to church this weekend.
One of the things that a lot of us learn at a young age isn't the most complicated thing to do, but it isn't always the easiest to keep up with in our busy day-to-day adult lives. Eating fruits and vegetables doesn't have to be hard. Balance of Nature's produce is powdered after an advanced vacuum cold process which stabilizes the maximum nutrient content. After, they are put into all-natural vegan capsules, so you can take your daily fruits and vegetables in just a few seconds. Start your journey to better health with Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order. Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-246-8751 or go to balanceofnature.com to get 35% off your first preferred order. That's 1-800-246-8751. Go to balanceofnature.com or call 1-800-246-8751 and get this special offer by using discount code TODD.
Hey, this is Vicki Gandy with CrowLike Realtors and GoTeamGandy.com. Are you thinking of selling your home? Are you wondering what your home will sell for? What exactly should you do to prepare your home to sell for the best price? These are all questions that Thomas and I can answer and can also put together a marketing strategy to get your home sold quickly for a great price. Call Team Gandy today at 901-412-2691 or visit our website at GoTeamGandy.com. That's GoTeamGandy.com.
The beauty of nature and art come together at Palladio Garden, 2215 Central Avenue in Midtown Memphis. Explore the outdoors in a walk-through experience through Palladio's courtyard, pavilion, and garden showroom. Enjoy lush, colorful plant life, ornate fountains of all shapes and sizes, and lovely garden decor to add that finishing touch to your home oasis. Then, visit the showrooms at Palladio Home or enjoy lunch at Cafe Palladio next door. Palladio Garden, located at 2215 Central Avenue in Midtown Memphis.
The place where Memphis turns first for breaking news. The mighty 990 AM and 107.9 FM. KWAM Memphis, a Starnes Media Group station.